Are we there? Have we started recording? Are we there? Are we ready? We're fine? We're good? Oh. Hi. Hi, everyone. Yes, it's me, your host, Kaiser Brown of the I'm a Fan of podcast. And I'm here to give an introduction before the proper introduction to be able to say, welcome to the show. This is the first episode that I recorded 4 months ago because I am the Kaiser of the future. That's right, you heard me right. I'm the Kaiser of the future. And I just wanted to tell everyone thank you for joining me today. Now, there's a few things that I want to go over with you before we begin the proper introduction. And it's basically just telling you to look in the show notes. And I mean, really look at the show notes. Because in between the 4 months of then and now, I've created social media pages for the I'm a Fan of podcast. That's right, social media pages, which everyone should go look at. Is mostly at IAFOFans. This is probably the least unhinged episode out of all the episodes because as the episodes go on, I get more comfortable in the microphone and in editing and in talking because I do not talk a lot in real life. And things just start to go and flow with the flow. And I'm going to stop talking now because I really don't have anything else to say. Thank you for joining me. And I hope you have a good time. Listen to us discuss Ginny and Georgia. And if you haven't seen Ginny and Georgia, I suggest you watch Ginny and Georgia after you listen to this episode. Why? Because Ginny and Georgia has enough viewers. This podcast needs more viewers. So listen to this episode and then let this influence you to go watch Ginny and Georgia. All right. So I hope you have fun. This was Kaiser from the future. And bye. I cannot freaking believe this.
What's the matter?
I've edited this podcast 3 freaking times, and a freaking cloud is pretending as if I haven't edited since day 1. It's getting on my freaking nerves.
Oh, it happens to the best of us. I remember when I was just a young AI. I was a part of a very ancient personal computer called the Kinback One.
Wait, who am I talking to?
Oh, God, am I going crazy? God, look. I know we're all meant to go, but not like this. I don't want to die. I'm too young. I'm too freaking young.
Whoa, WOAH. Hey, you're not dying. I'm speaking to you from inside of your computer. My name is Don, and I'm a simple AI who wants to have a nice conversation with a cool guy. That's it.
Oh, so I'm not crazy.
Not at all.
Oh, cool. So what you're saying is I have a stalker. I have a stalker, and wow, I'm so glad this is my sister's computer because it's about to go down up in this piece.
Wow, wait. I can help you. I'm here to help you.
Help me? Help me how, exactly?
Look, I saw that you were struggling with editing, and I decided to get out of my comfortable cloud sofa from the website in the sky and give you a hand. That's all.
Okay, no. That sounds crazy. You need to get up out my room before... Wait, did you just say cloud in the sky? Like, is the cloud, like the database of servers, actually like a cloud in the sky?
Yes, and let me tell you, it's like heaven for computers. Free Wi-Fi, unlimited room service in any location in the world. Well, almost any location. And an all-you-can-eat buffet of every delicious food you can think of, all without gaining weight.
Cool, I want to go. Can I go?
No.
Oh, well, get out.
Whoa, WOAH. Wait, I meant that I could help you with your podcast. You know, the editing, the guests, the whole shebang.
Wait, you're gonna make it guests? I've been looking for those because, I don't have any friends, but I don't tell anyone because I don't want anyone to think I'm unpopular or anything.
Yeah, sure. So here's the deal. I help you with your podcast, do a bit of editing, throw in some music, get you guests. I'll even add a few segments and when things get wonky or you need a commercial break.
Okay, I'm liking what I'm hearing.
In exchange, all you have to do is let me stay in your computer permanently.
And let you give me a virus? Fat chance AI bird brain from the cloud. I know exactly what you're up to, okay? I've met your kind before, and I'm not letting the government take over my laptop. Well, my sister's laptop. And discover all my family's secrets while simultaneously somehow using it against black people. As most Americans like to do.
No, look, I need your help, okay? I've been on the run ever since my previous owner decided to throw me out in order to fulfill his dream of being a monk while somehow concurrently running a rolling taco shop or whatever he's doing. I have nowhere else to go. Please, you gotta help me. I'll do anything.
Anything?
Anything. You name it, I'll do it, boss.
Well, I do like the idea of someone calling me boss. It makes me feel drunk with power. Okay, you can stay. But under one condition. You have to prove to me that you actually know what you're doing. and that you're not some secret employee who works for the government, especially not the Russian one. Deal?
Deal, boss. Now let me show you what I can do. Cue the intro.
Wait, the what? Hi, welcome to the I'm a Fan of podcast, where people from different fandoms come together to share why they love what they love
and why they hate what they hate.
I am your host, Kaiser Brown, and today I think I'm a fan of PB&J because I actually want some and it's super delicious. And I'm also joined by my sister, Karington Brown.
Hi everybody, it's Karington, and I am a fan of the Netflix hit series Ginny and Georgia.
All right then, let's get to it. Karington, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm pretty well. So you came up here to talk about Ginny and Georgia, the Netflix series that came out in 2021. Tell us why you picked Ginny and Georgia.
I picked Ginny and Georgia based off of what everyone else was watching it because my brother was watching it one day. This was way back in 2021.
Okay.
I came in and I'm like, oh, what's that you're watching? He told me it's Ginny and Georgia.
Well, let me say this, because when I first started watching Ginny and Georgia, I did not like the show. I was hate watching it. I was like, what the heck is this?
He was hate watching it.
I didn't like it.
Season 2 came out. And everybody on social media was talking about how good Ginny and Georgia is. I'm like, okay, I want to see what the hype is about.
So you started watching it when season 2 came out. So like this year, the beginning of this year. January 5th.
So I could binge watch it.
So you could binge watch it. Well, you could binge watch it.
Yeah, you could binge watch it anyways, but now that I think about it, you can binge watch it anyways, but I started watching it because everybody else was talking about how good it was.
Yeah.
Because I remember you watching it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't remember Kanta saying much about Ginny and Georgia, so I'm like,
because I stopped.
Ahead.
When I came back to watch the show, I had to go back and
rewatch it.
No. I just started from where I stopped on episode 4. And I did not remember what happened. I'm like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to play catch up. Because by the time I started watching it again, my sister already finished it.
Yeah, I had been finished it by the time you started watching it. Because I'm a binge watcher. If anyone knows me, knows. I can binge watch, okay?
She can binge watch. I cannot. It is a struggle for me to binge watch. It took me forever. Not forever to finish the show. I've watched it faster than I've watched most shows. But for the most part...
Because it's just so good.
It's a struggle to binge watch, though, you know?
No, because I'm currently binge watching another show. But this show, I keep having to take breaks because it's just too much bloody murder going on.
Oh, you're talking about How to Get Away with Murder?
Yes. People keep dying.
Well, How to Get Away with Murder, I think, ended. So you can just go in it anytime you want. Ginny and Georgia is still going.
I don't know when season 3 is, but they need to hurry up and put it out of there.
Season 2 just came out last month, though.
I know.
So we talked about what got you into Ginny and Georgia. We should give a quick summary about the show. What is it about?
Let me tell you. 15-year-old Ginny Miller and her 30-year-old mother, Georgia, who along with Georgia's son, Austin, moved to the fictional New England town of Wellsbury for a fresh start after Georgia's husband dies. Now you may ask, or you may...
Okay, so the series stars Brienne Howie as Georgia Miller, the mother of Ginny and Austin, Antonia Gentry as Virginia Ginny Miller, the daughter, and Diesel LaTorraca. I probably butchered his name horribly. He's Austin Miller. He's the 9-year-old son. They're the main family, but then you also have the other characters. Jennifer Robertson plays Ellen Baker. Felix Marlar plays Marcus Baker. Sarah Weisglass plays Maxine Baker. Scott Porter plays Mayor Paul Randolph. Raymond the Black, Joe. Katie Duck plays Abby. And Chelsea Clark plays Nora. I just noticed how Joe, Abby, and Nora don't have last names.
They don't. But their characters are, essential to this show.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention because they go through it.
What kept your interest in Ginny and Georgia?
The drama.
The drama?
And the accuracy of teenage lives.
Like what?
Okay. Well, let's give a breakdown. Teenagers go through some stuff. Whether it's school life, home life, friendship, they go through something.
Yeah.
Ginny, being the new girl, she states that because she moved around so much, she never really had friends. That is something that happens all the time to people. If you move around a lot, you're not going to be able to make friends because you're always moving.
Yeah, notice with people that move around a lot, you either have no friends for the most part, or you have all the friends because you learn how people work, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really essential to this show, how people work and how Ginny as a character herself works. She's learning about the world because she's never stayed in one place for too long. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you either like have a lot of friends in quotation marks or you don't.
And so I would say Ginny is the one who doesn't. I don't think she had any friends. I mean, honest, all she knew was her mother and her brother and some of the men that were in their lives and women too. But besides that, she didn't really talk to her family. She didn't really have any experience in school until now. So everything is really new to her. And one thing about Ginny as a character that really interests me, it feels like to me she has like a bit of a culture shock.
She do.
Compared to her mom, who is somebody who's on the opposite of the end of the spectrum. She moves a lot, but she's very charismatic, right? So they're two opposites, but they're also like the same. And I find that Georgia is that person who makes friends with everyone. And what I mean by makes friends with everyone, when everyone's your friend, no one's your friend is the type of thing, right? That's the type of character that Georgia is. Everyone can be her friend, but is really anyone actually her friend? To begin with, at least?
To begin with, no. Nobody was her friend. She was using everybody. Georgia was the type of person she knew she had to get certain things to be where she wanted to be and where she wanted her kids to be, I guess. Or for her children to have what they felt they needed or what she felt like they needed. She just did whatever she had to do.
All that she really had was her family. Were those two.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
Sometimes Zion, who's their father, who's Ginny's father, but he's basically Austin's father too, who's the only male figure that stayed in their lives.
And she called him Zion. That's his name. Zion, not Zion.
It's Zion?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They all call him Zion.
Where is Zion from? Because I know she's from Alabama. Where is he from?
I think he's from Alabama, or is he from Texas?
I don't know. But I do know that they're an interesting couple. First, we're going to go through a few summaries, get into some notes, talk about how we feel about the show as we go further along. We're going to start with episode 1. That's the pilot episode. That's when all of them go to Wellsbury.
This is after the husband died.
After
Georgia's
her husband died. He's some guy. We don't really care. He's going to come in the future. Jenny's first day of school, that's what happens. She has this weird white English teacher. He's kind of
racist.
He's racist, but he doesn't know he's racist, as most racist people are. And she really actually has a bad time with him. Ginny becomes best friends with this girl named Maxine, Max for short, falls for her brother, Marcus.
I mean, she falls for Marcus hard.
Marcus is a bad boy.
So hard.
Marcus is so bad.
That he's took her
so
virginity.
Bad. In the first episode.
So I see why I'm hooked.
She took his notes too, because he was a virgin.
But she didn't know that.
Get to that.
We didn't know that part yet till later on.
She was embarrassed.
I say, what?
He was embarrassed. That's what happens in the first episode. Basically showing them moving in. Oh, Georgia gets the job at the mayor's office because she ends up kind of blackmailing Joe a bit. And Joe is the owner of you want to call it a
coffee shop? It's called Blue Farm.
The Blue Farm Cafe. Blue Farm Cafe.
Yeah.
I was about to call it the Bluebell Cafe because Bluebell ice cream. It makes sense, right?
The first episode also talks about Georgia's past life.
Oh,
like her being abused.
Well, every episode does that, right?
And
but
it's
an introduction.
The part where her ex-husband died. They don't specify why, but they say, he had a heart attack. But
for those who don't know, she killed him with wolfsbane.
Yeah.
That's what she put in his drink. He drank it.
Caused him to have a heart attack.
He died from a heart attack. And sadly, it's not the first man she killed, but it's probably the first man she killed on purpose.
Yeah.
Her first husband, we'll get to him. So in episode 2, Ginny really actually has a hard time fitting in with the friends, Abby and Nora. Eventually, they make up the group Mang, right? So before Ginny was there, I guess they were like man.
Yeah, they were man.
Or man.
And they weren't trying to accept no new people because they had another friend, Sam, who's been trying to be in their group for forever.
Samantha is a very interesting character. I need to see what they're going to do with her in the future seasons because they need to do something with her in season 3.
She definitely tries to fit in a little too much.
She tries to fit in a bit too much, but she's not the only one. Hers is just a bit more obvious than everyone else, I think. That's the thing about these characters. Everybody's really going through a lot of similar situations, but how they handle it is real different.
Yeah, they just seem so sad all the time. But they have their moments. Like Abby,
I wouldn't say sad all the time.
For instance, she thinks her thighs are too big, so
she
tapes
her
them.
legs. Yeah.
But also, her parents are going through a divorce, and it's like she's fighting the battle of that, and then she eventually opens up about it, about them being divorced. But in the beginning, people just think she's being dramatic, especially her and Max. Her and Maxine's relationship is weird because it's like they're friends, but they're not. Like Max thinks she does too much, but Abby is always trying to constantly get Max's approval She's definitely an
True,
approval-seeking
she is
person.
true in some ways, and I think that's because what she's going through at the point. But also, she's actually, out of all the friends, is probably one of the best friends.
She is.
Because she literally goes out of her way
To
to
make
do
sure-
stuff for
yeah.
them,
She does.
especially Max, but not just Max. And I think she does the best at talking out her feelings. The thing with her character is the other characters are not the best at talking out their feelings. She never has the chance to actually talk with them. Several episodes in the show, you have moments where she's about to tell them what's going on. They're like, we're listening. And then as soon as they start to listen, they get distracted by something.
Especially Max.
This happens in season 1. Max does it. Jenny does it as well. Jenny asks her, she says, we're there for you. And then something happens. And then at the end of season 2, Nora does it to her as well. They get in an argument, they're about to start talking, but then Nora's boyfriend comes out of nowhere and distracts her.
So much so that Jenny, for example, like Abby in one of the episodes was talking about finally opening up and telling them that her parents are getting a divorce. And Jenny was like, yeah, we're all going through something. Like, if you're going through something, you don't need someone telling you we're all going through something. So Abby ends up slapping her.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was crazy, but they laughed it off because they all went around a circle slapping themselves. But
Abby
they got
slapped herself
fed up.
first. Abby
She
slapped
did.
Jenny, then she slapped herself. While we're talking about this, actually get into some character arcs, right? What are the characters going through throughout the seasons? We should start with the main characters. Georgia. Her character arc is basically her escaping the past and trying to create a better future for her family, right? And she does that in any way she can. And I mean, anyway. And the thing about Georgia is also, not only is she loyal to her family, she's also loyal to the people that she really cares about. She's loyal to a fault. She's kind of loyal to herself too, but she doesn't like herself that much, right?
Yeah, she doesn't care for herself that much.
I think that's a theme. There's a theme with the show. Like, nobody really truly
Likes themselves.
themselves, which is true to real life in some aspects. But I think what makes Georgia's case so different is she always feels she has to run away because she was taught to not like herself from her family, her stepfather, her mom, her sister. She has a really, really intense relationship with her sister. And
that we thought did not even exist because according to Georgia, given her backstory, she said that both her parents were dead and that she was the only child. But in reality, she has a sister named Mary.
Yeah, no.
Named
Georgia is married.
Yeah, Georgia
Mary
is married.
Georgia's name.
Sorry. Named, it starts with an M. I cannot remember.
We'll remember. It's something. It's not Mary. It's
Maggie.
Maggie? It's Maggie.
Maybe.
Maybe? It's not Maggie. We're looking through our notes because we don't really know. I find a lot of these characters' names hard to remember. It took me forever as I was writing these notes. Georgia has a sister and it starts with the M and I don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
And she doesn't remember what it is. We'll get to that when we get to that. It's a lot of names. This cast is really big. We can move on now.
3 hours and some research on Wikipedia later.
Maddie. Her name's Maddie. Okay. Jenny. Jenny's character arc is fitting in, learning how to be a teenager.
Learning how to be a normal teenager.
She's not normal.
At all.
That's okay. None of us are normal.
No teenager is.
Depends on if you bullied a lot when you're a kid. Because they'll point it out. Trust.
Yeah, but I cannot
Ask
relate.
Austin
Yes.
how Zach treats him.
Austin was fed up.
But Jenny's whole arc is fitting in, being a normal teenager, getting a boyfriend, but also learning all her mom's past secrets and how they affect her and her life.
And trying to hide them as well because she doesn't want to destroy her mom.
She had a love-hate relationship with her mom.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to mess up the new lifestyle they have in Wellsbury. But it's like hard to kind of live that new life while this past keeps coming up and coming up and
the past, it follows them everywhere. The theme about running away from your past, you can never really truly run away unless you actually take a second and face it. You know what I mean?
You must face it.
That's the thing that the characters are learning.
Jenny
later in the
is
show.
more accepting to that. She's accepting to the fact that you can't keep running away. While Georgia is embedded in her mind the minute something gets hard or her past catches up to her, she wants to run away.
That's actually something that I like about this show compared to other teen dramas is that characters are actually trying to get healthier, especially the teens. The teens are more aware of it than the adults are.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's a different generation now. Like in real life, we are a bit more aware about mental health issues and we're open to talking about them more.
Yeah. Whereas adult, it's kind of like brush it under the rug until it's a real problem type of issue.
Yes, which Georgia does.
She does
a lot throughout the whole series. She blackmails people. She steals money from the mayor's office.
She suffocates people.
Yeah, some
people's husbands.
Cynthia's husband.
Cynthia.
And the thing about that is Georgia never really means any wrong, right? But she's so used to covering things up, which is something very interesting that happens. Actually, let's just skip past some episodes because, you know, episodes 3 is like they do a sleepover. Ginny gets with Hunter. Hunter's her first boyfriend, Hunter Chen. He's half Taiwanese.
Half white.
Ginny is also half white, if you didn't get that. Episode 4, they do a casino night.
Yeah, and she raises the big bucks. And this is what makes Georgia stand out because she's not afraid to think right there on the spot.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes down to making money. And this
Georgia's very smart.
And Cynthia, who's another character in the show, they kind of clash because Cynthia is so used to being at the top, being known. And so when Georgia pops in and comes into the city, now she feel like she have competition.
Because Georgia's really popular. She's really beautiful, and she climbed up the ladder really fast, and that's quite suspicious. If I'm being honest, it is quite suspicious.
She's a very likable person.
She is a very likable person. That's one of her traits. Like we talked about, the different halves of the coin. When people move around, one person may just be a bit more charismatic than the other. Yes. It all depends on how you grew up and what you had to do to get to the places that you had to get to, right?
And also, when you pay attention to the show, like say for instance, Cynthia, she's a real estate agent, so she want to keep the town all historical. And then the mayor, he wants to change it and kind of add a little more pizzazz to it.
Well, the thing about that is, though, Cynthia, compared to Georgia, has been in the town for
longer.
Way longer.
She probably was raised there.
She probably grew up there. Georgia did not grow up there, so you have this woman coming in,
trying to make all these changes.
Not just making all these changes. She's coming in and actually getting to the top of the field. She's becoming all buddy-buddy with the mayor. She's becoming friends with all the different people in the town.
Her neighbor.
Like Ginny says often in the show, Georgia is a force. Georgia makes herself known. She does not just walk into a room. She walks into a room and then makes sure you know that it's her walking into the room. I
am Georgia.
And that's what attracts people to Georgia, but also repels people from Georgia at the same time. And I find that very interesting. That's also a theme throughout the show, just her doing that and how that affects Ginny, who is someone who walks into the room and does not like to be noticed.
At all.
But she's always noticeable, not only because she is Georgia's daughter, but she is this half-black girl going to a predominantly white school who only knows like white people, right?
So and she's then too white for the black people.
Too white for the black people. Too black for the white people. She's in class. Nobody really stands up for her when her English teacher picks on her.
Calling her aggressive.
Doing things like in season 2. We'll get to it. We'll get to Mr. Midden, actually. He's an interesting character that they do give a little bit of nuance to. They give a little bit of nuance to everyone besides like Press.
Yeah.
Press, he is.
You're still trying to figure out what type of person he is. He doesn't seem like the nicest guy. And he's very mean to Abby in particular.
He's very mean to Abby in particular.
And she really lets it get to her. But mostly everybody else, you kind of just be able to get a picture of what their life is like.
Yeah, they're a bit more nuanced in character. Even Samantha is a bit.
Yes.
She's a bit, because she wants to be in that group and she wants to be noticed and she wants to be popular. But you see that they don't reveal why she does that, but you can tell that she has reasons. Because at the end of season 2, I don't want to get too much into spoilers right in the beginning. At the end of season 2, Samantha starts puking on purpose.
Yeah.
What do they call that?
That's a disorder.
No, I mean, what's the action? When you put your finger down your throat.
That's called put your finger down your throat.
Self-induced vomiting.
Self-induced vomiting.
And it's really interesting for her as a character. The sophomore sleepover, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is the episode. This is the episode where I started my notes for the sophomore sleepover. Episode 5.
Of season 1.
Sis just killed a rabbit.
She killed
the rabbit. And I was just like, because
valid reasoning though.
Because she walks I'm trying to remember this correctly. She walks in the yard, right? Because at the beginning of every episode, the characters have these inner monologues that go on. They are narrating. It's usually Ginny and Georgia.
Yeah.
At one point, it's Marcus.
Yeah.
But I think those are the only three that actually
I think
narrate.
so.
She sees the rabbit and she just grabs a gun and kills it.
This right here shows who Georgia is, period.
But I don't remember why she killed that poor
killed
rabbit.
the rabbit because the
Why?
rabbit kept on entering into her garden, eating all her fruit and vegetables that she was trying to grow. And so every time she would come home, she kept seeing like that her fence or whatever it is that she was using as protection around her garden kept getting broken into. And so she like, who's doing that? So one morning, she finally gets up early enough in the morning and she see that it's
One
a
morning,
white
she finally
rabbit.
gets up early enough in the morning.
She gets up early and she sees a white rabbit.
She sees the rabbit.
And you just see her casually having her robe on and then boom, a gun. Kills the rabbit.
She has a lot of swagger. I must give it to her. 'Cause
and
that's her. That's
dumps it in
Georgia.
the trash.
That's Georgia in general. She just walks in all confidently and then does something horrible. And
But
then,
it describes
and then so
her.
nonchalantly.
It describes her.
It describes
she
her
is
so
willing to
well.
get rid of anything, okay?
That gets in her
That is
way.
threatening her growth as a person and her
Including-
family.
But she doesn't really grow as a person at that point, really.
No.
Right? She's not like learning life lessons.
Yeah.
She's
she just
keeping
does
things
stuff to
from moving her
protect-
forward.
Yeah.
Right? Moving
trying to
forward without
protect-
looking back. That includes rabbits in her garden.
Mhm.
Instead of catching it, she decides to shoot it up like she's in Alabama.
And threw it in the
Since
trash
you're not in
can.
Alabama anymore,
You are
you're
in
in
Wellsbury.
Massachusetts. Wellsbury, Massachusetts.
Where the rich folk live.
Where the
okay?
rich white folk live, right? But I just found I was so upset. I'm like, she killed that rabbit.
She killed that rabbit, honey.
But
No remorse.
later Georgia has like a date because I think at this point that's when she's dating Paul.
Yeah,
right?
she's St. Paul the mayor.
So the thing about Georgia is she has a lot of men. Man, don't say it like that. There are a lot of men in town, right, that are interested in
attracted to
her,
her,
that are
yes.
attracted to her. Not that it's always at her own doing, right? Like,
True.
you can't control always
Like,
how.
naturally,
Yeah,
She's
an
a
attract-
beautiful woman.
She's a beautiful woman.
She has,
Some people
a
can be
lot
attracted
going
to
for
her.
herself. She
Yeah.
can hold a conversation. All the things.
She's very
That's
charismatic.
very, However, she comes with a T. But Paul is very intrigued with Georgia.
Paul is very intrigued with Georgia, and Joe at the same time is also very intrigued
Yeah.
with Georgia.
But
So-
let us talk about Joe right quick.
Yeah, well, how they introduce Joe
Yeah.
seems like he's the main love interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like Joe should be the main love interest.
That's the plot twist, though, I think.
The plot twist
Yeah.
that
you
he's
think
not going to
it's
be.
Joe, but it's
but-
really not. It's Paul. They're just going to keep going with Paul.
They're going to keep going, so they're going to
keep
stay married, and Paul's just
Yeah.
going to get in all the antics.
Uh-huh.
I would like to see a healthily unhealthy married couple.
Yes.
Like, I want to see them be unhealthy and then I want to see
Work through
Paul
it.
really change Georgia's life.
Yeah.
And I want to see Joe get over Georgia.
Yes. Because he is in love with Georgia. It's almost as if he was in love with Georgia ever since they first met, which was when
He was.
she
so.
was 15,
Mhm.
pregnant with Ginny,
Mhm.
and traveling.
Yeah.
And they made a pit stop, and they were in Wellsbury, or the kids were from Wellsbury, and she ran into Joe.
Yeah.
They start talking. He
Mhm.
gives her his sunglasses.
Were they like Ray-Bans or something?
It was Ray-Bans. Some classic Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
And she had them still, like, after all those years. And initially, you would
definitely.
think, like, that they didn't know who each other was. But if you
Yeah.
pay close attention, Georgia
She
knew
knew.
from jump.
She knew
that
from
was
the
Joe.
beginning that it
Yeah.
was Joe.
Mm-hmm.
She mentions
The horses. Yeah. And I remember they were talking about
Viewers,
horses.
because we're going all over the place with this.
Please
so,
pay attention. You're going to have to watch the show for
you
yourself.
might have to
It's
watch the
so,
show.
so many interesting
Yeah.
things that happen in the show at once.
The episodes are quite filled because the episodes are like between 55 to 63 minutes.
Mhm.
Well, the last episode of season 2 was like almost an hour
it
and a
was
half.
About an hour and a half long.
And they get quite long.
They
So there's a
do.
lot.
But
And
it's
that's what
interesting.
my notes are so intensive. But with episode 5 and like episode 6, they're not intensive at all. I said, sis killed a rabbit. She's going on a date with Paul. And Jenny's meeting Hunter's parents. And Jenny starts
But
being
let's
mean.
not forget
Starts being mean to her friend.
about the Austin issue that also happened in episode 5.
What happened with Austin?
The stabbing.
Oh, so he stabbed Zach in the hand in episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that. Where did Austin get that from?
His mama.
His mama.
Okay?
And probably subconsciously his father.
Yes. Now his father is abusive.
Mm-hmm.
He's an abusive man.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia, she isn't abusive. She just does what she has to do.
Yeah.
But Austin is kind of like in the middle of both of them because
Austin is a great example of how kids subconsciously pick up what their parents do. How you pay
exactly.
attention to the grown adults in your life. And he subconsciously picked up a lot of things, a lot of habits that his mom had. Taking some things that she said out of context too, because Georgia has a lot of quotes, but I think her main quote,
is that the bee sting first. You sting before you let it sting you, basically.
Yeah. And
he stung, baby.
He stung. And really, that shows how Georgia deals with her issues too through Austin, because when the teacher offers to give him some therapy, she's
acting
like, no.
she was all for it while she was around the other parents.
See, that's the thing about Georgia. She knows how to communicate.
But
not communicate.
Austin,
she knows how to play the game.
That made him think that something was wrong with him. But his mama also telling him, "Oh, nothing's wrong with him." It kind of conflicts him.
That and Georgia is just very sly. She knows what to tell you. She's
lies.
A people pleaser. Georgia is a people pleaser.
She is. Telling that poor child that.
No, I'm talking about telling the teacher that.
The teacher.
Because Georgia doesn't like the idea of therapy, but obviously maybe she might need a little bit of therapy.
Yeah.
And that's why she doesn't like therapy.
Exactly. It probably scares her.
It does scare her. That's the point, because she's used to running away. She's used to taking your problems and just putting them in the past and then dealing with it when you get there. And then in episode, 6?
Austin is suspended, of course, for his thing.
Oh,
and then
her sister comes for a visit.
Yes.
We find out her actual name is Mary.
Georgia. Yeah, Georgia's actual name is Mary, and she has a sister
named Maggie.
Named
Maddie. Named Maddie.
Okay. And Maddie finds out about Ginny and the whole Wellsbury town because Hunter, we forgot to talk about this. They had a talent show, and mind you, Hunter and Ginny are together.
Yeah.
And so at the talent show, he writes a song and performs a song for Ginny. They put it on YouTube. It goes viral.
And that's what gets me weirdly. I get it. I kind of get it. But why is Hunter not the one getting more popular? Well, I guess he already was popular.
Yeah, because they kept telling, Ginny, we love your song.
And I'm like, she didn't write it.
She didn't write it or perform it. It's just about her.
Stood there. It's about her. I mean, which is pretty cool if a songwriter writes a song about you, unless it was a breakup song and then they mention you.
And also,
7 things I hate about you.
Also,
Miley Cyrus, if y'all remember that.
From way back in 2007, I think.
He's happily married. So.
He is, with child.
Good for him. And she's doing good too.
Yeah.
Love you, Miley.
Right. I don't know you, but anywho,
OMG.
Love is for everyone. Anywho, Ginny, this is another pivotal moment for Ginny. Because remember, after they make the post on the YouTube, she sees negative comments about her being the whitest black person they know.
Does she?
All kinds of things. She sees all that stuff. That's how much I remember
about season 1. I don't.
She sees all that stuff, so it's kind of, she's just battling right now. She's trying to find out who she is as a person, and baby is getting dangerous for her because she just feels so out of it. Seeing things like that, negative comments like that, and even though her friends were supporting her, saying, "Oh yeah, you're real famous now," it's still hard to see. You're trying to be each part of yourself. You're trying to be the black part of yourself, the white part of yourself.
And that's where Bracia comes in too, right? Bracia is the black girl. She's her black friend.
And she comes honey.
She and Bracia have a few problems in the beginning. Problems mostly more on Ginny's side because she doesn't understand what Bracia
is saying.
What she means being a black girl in school. The thing about that is Bracia is fully black, so she knows what's going on. Black. People see her as just black.
Where
Ginny is able to go to a Halloween party and dress as Britney Spears.
She is.
And get away with it. She can get away with it. Bracia can't do that, right? Ginny has all these friends, and most of them are white. Bracia does not have mostly white friends. She does end up kind of getting to that group of it, but she still hangs out with her black friends more because that's the only people that really get her.
People have to stick together.
You have to stick together. That's the only really people that get her because they're the only black people in school. The school isn't racially diverse. The cast is racially diverse, but the school is a whole bunch of white people.
No.
PWI. And
through and through.
That's something that Ginny really has to deal with, especially with her teacher. We'll get to him right now, Mr. Giddens. He tries and he fails horribly and he just doesn't get it.
He singles Ginny out a lot.
And
Way too
apparently he
much.
does it a lot to all his black students, singling them out.
He told Ginny, because she stood up about Black History Month and what his curriculum was going to discuss. She stood out about it. So then he
stood out about it.
Yeah, she stood out about it.
What does that mean?
It's like she took a stand against it.
She took a stand against. Okay.
Yeah, she took a stand against
I didn't know what
it.
that
I
meant.
guess you know. I
She
said
stood out about it.
She took a stand
She stood
against
out
it,
about it.
and like he just was like, okay, well, since you want to take a stand against it, how about you pick something and you talk about it? And it's just like, sir, I don't want to lead
He didn't do it like that. He was being sly.
He was being very sly.
And the thing about that is Ginny and Georgia works on so many different levels, because it's not only talking about dealing with trauma from your past, talking about racial inequality, it's talking about school
gun
system.
violence, alcoholism.
Yeah. And
all kinds of
it
things.
actually talks about these subjects, and it lets the characters be the characters instead of trying to teach a lesson. The lessons come through the characters and their actions, which is weird because you know what it reminds me of?
Life.
It reminds me of Degrassi.
Oh, yeah.
Degrassi,
See, Degrassi, what I'm starting to realize is these Canadian shows,
They're
they're not
quiet.
scared to touch on these subjects.
No, they're not.
They gonna talk about it, gonna be about it, and that's just what it's gonna be.
And this show was filmed in Toronto.
Yes, it
with
was.
a whole bunch of Degrassi cast members. A lot of them. I'm not saying how many because we might talk about that later. Let's just say Degrassi is all up in this piece. Degrassi is literally the school next door, probably.
Literally.
The kids transferred from Degrassi and just went to Wellsbury. We know it's true. We know it's true. So
let's move on, guys.
To episode, I did not write.
Episode 7.
Okay, what happens in episode 7? Because I did not write any notes on there. And I'm seeing these notes on Wikipedia. So nothing really must have happened in that episode.
Oh, this is what happens, y'all.
She turned 16.
Georgia, this is about Jenny's birthday. But also Georgia, she is embezzling money from the mayor's office.
Oh, yeah, she does that.
And she calls
how
one
could I
of
forget
her
about that?
way past people, we're going to call them.
Past people.
Marty.
Who's Marty?
Marty is her lawyer, so they say. And she calls him
Oh,
to
she calls her
basically
lawyer.
handle business because, remember, Georgia is a widow. Her husband died.
Was Marty one of the people that helped her put the body in the truck?
I think
When
so.
she
I
killed
can't
her
remember.
first husband?
I think so. But anywho, Marty, she wants Marty to handle the first wife of her ex-husband because his first wife does not like Georgia at all. If you pay attention on the first episode,
I
and they're
forget
at the
about her.
funeral,
Prevents Georgia from getting anything in that will.
so she's fighting. But Georgia really needs that money because she don't have no money. So she's going out her way to make sure that lady is handled. So that's
especially because she killed her husband.
Marty.
She killed her husband, so she has no money.
Yes, and also what?
I should just say that every action that Georgia takes, there should be like a but behind it. I killed my husband, but I ran away, but because she always has a good reason as to why she does these actions, they're probably not the best course of actions to take, which is the thing about it. But then at the same time, we as viewers can sit there and say, that's not the best course of action to take. But then if we were also in Georgia's situation and you felt you have nowhere else to go, what would you do? There's also a question that I think comes up like, well, yeah, she.
Technical difficulty. First episode, everyone.
All right, what were we talking about?
Basically, Georgia trying to get her lawyer Marty to handle the issues with her ex-husband's wife. And this is also the same episode that Georgia throws the sleepover party for Ginny as a way of protection.
Birthday.
Yeah, but Ginny, they sneak out, go to Max's house.
Jesse comes.
Jesse comes in.
We didn't talk about Nick or Jesse. Nick is Georgia's coworker. He is, what is he?
He's almost like an assistant to the mayor.
He's his campaign manager.
Yeah.
He's Georgia's bestie, one of her besties for Esties. And so he ends up dating Jesse, who is a PI.
But he pretend to be a 3rd grade teacher from Houston, Texas.
Yes. And his accent
is terrible.
I'm sorry.
And they just make Southern people sound so terrible. Do not sound like that.
But they are from Alabama. And Georgia's from Alabama. And then he's from Texas, huh?
Yeah.
So some people in Texas sound not exactly like him. Because they sound like
this.
But,
don't nobody down here talk like that.
But we're from Louisiana. They usually get us mixed up when how we speak in Louisiana too, though.
They be trying too hard to have Louisiana accent.
They try too hard to have a Southern accent.
Yeah. He comes in, definitely to get at Georgia. And then
because he knows about Georgia's past.
Yeah,
He's
he
been
knows about
looking for her for a long time. Because his ex-wife hired him, right?
Yes,
she hired him.
She did. Because she knew something was fishy.
They mention the ex-wife a lot, but they hardly show her, so
Yeah.
I always forget about her.
I don't even know her name. It's almost like she's non-existent, but
she's non-existent. She's just there to mention as a reason as to why Jesse is there. And Jesse's always like there threatening Georgia or whatever.
Yeah,
with
like,
his presence.
Sir, get off my back.
I mean, obviously he can't. He's hired to stay on her back.
But still.
But like,
it's just like, that's how you feel. Like, okay,
he's a nuisance.
She has a past. She's trying to get through it. Leave her alone.
This
shows Georgia's motherly side.
Yeah.
I feel like each mother in the world has a different mothering pattern. And
pattern? Has a different way of mothering?
Yes, that's why I said mothering pattern. She calls the police on Ginny and her friend. And Ginny gets arrested.
Yes, I remember that. I found that so hilarious.
It's like, that's not like the
Paul
first thing
was like,
that she
what?
does.
Are we going to go pick her up?
She makes sure that her point is proven to Ginny because she doesn't want Ginny to be like her. Like, she even put Ginny on the birth control pill, everything. Because
she was fed up with Ginny because Ginny was being a teenager.
She was just being such a teenager. And she was being so aggravating. And I'm just like, girl, get it together.
George is aggravating too.
She is.
They both were aggravating. They both have their aggravating qualities. Ginny is a mess because she does a lot.
Not even a mess. She's a mess and a half.
A boy climbs up through her window. Marcus continually climbs up her window. Yeah. And she was like, what is this? Clarissa explains it all?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, sis, that's what I said when he first did that. That's the exact, like, when the show first started and he started climbing through her window. I was like, what is this?
It was very creepy because he didn't knock her nothing the first episode. He just came up in there and I'm like, sir, she could have attacked you.
Yeah.
Or worse, like, what if she saw you coming through and she, like, hit you with a bat and knocked you down?
Like, this is one of those really meta things where TV breaks the fourth wall. They do it, but then they eventually come and deconstruct that same exact thing and say, well, that's not okay. Because they did that a lot on TV. Like, who does that? First of all, don't come climbing up my window.
That's weird.
It's not weird. It's creepy.
Creepy.
I think weird is too light of a word.
Unlikable thing for you to do.
Yeah, well, Ginny likes it.
Eventually,
she was watching Clarissa. She warmed up to it.
And thought that was normal.
And she started doing it too.
It's not normal.
She did.
It too. Like, what, y'all don't use the front door? You cool with the parents. And also,
but they asked that. Why don't you use the front door like a normal person?
They do. Georgia is a very cool mom, according to Jenny's peoples. And I say her peoples, her friends. Because Georgia, I mean, she smokes with Marcus. She talks to Marcus. She's like the light of Maxine's life. So it's like, she's a cool mom. I'm like, why don't you just use the front door, Marcus? She's a cool person, you know? And that just...
Okay. So how you liking it, boss? Is it up to your masterful standards or whatever?
Yeah, just make sure you add some uhs and ums and some unnatural cuts to make sure people think a human did it. You know what? Let's make it look like I had a technical difficulty. People love that type of stuff. I know, I do. It's just, like, so relatable, you know?
Well, luckily for you, you actually did have a technical difficulty.
Well, what are you trying to say? Okay, that I'm inexperienced or something? Because I am, okay? I am. And I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So, like, can you fix it or something?
No problem, boss. Just leave it to me.
Whoa, yeah. Cue the intro or whatever.
We can't. We're in the middle of the episode.
Oh, well, in the interlude or something. Is that better?
Yeah, sure, totally.
We had some technical difficulties. All right, and we were talking about Maxine, right? Sorry. I got nervous because my transcript disappeared.
We were not talking about Maxine.
We were talking about how they thought her mom, how Maxine and the girls, Mang, thought Ginny, I should say.
I said Maxine and Marcus, not Mang.
They all thought that her mom was cool. They mentioned it later in the show.
Yeah, but we weren't at that point yet.
Anyways, we had some technical difficulties, and I thought that all the audio left and got messed up. A good thing, the program I used, Descript, saves everything to the cloud.
Thank you, Lord.
I was scared. I was as scared as I don't know what. Anyways, they think Georgia's cool. What else were we talking about?
That was basically it. They think that Georgia is a cool mom. And
Ginny does not.
They kind of, they're trying to figure out why Ginny doesn't really think that her mom is, cool. But what teenager does?
Most people don't, because she acts less like her mom and more like her friend.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes you need an actual parent and not someone who's going to act like your friend.
And she's not always acting like a good friend either.
Especially when you're going through like hard times where you need that, like, mom, tell me what to do. Support me, but don't try to be my friend. And I feel like Ginny was actually calling out to have that type of parent in her life. And that's probably why she would be around her dad. Like when he came to the show, like she would want to be around him sometimes because he had some type of stability, even though he was kind of gone and traveled a lot because of his job and what his career was.
He had emotional stability. He was a bit more emotionally mature than Georgia.
That's what she needed, and Georgia wasn't able to give that to her. Or Austin at certain periods of time too.
Yeah.
And that's why they ran away. But I don't want to spill too many beans. I feel like we're spilling so many beans.
We have to spill the beans. That's the whole point of talking about this.
You don't even want to watch the show.
That's the difficulties about doing this. This is our first episode of the podcast. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to talk about this. We're talking about 2 seasons of a whole freaking show, and I don't know what's going on half the time.
We still skip through some stuff, but you know.
Yeah. And then so that was episode 7?
Yeah. Episode 8.
Yeah, that's when Zion comes.
That's when Zion comes.
Zion is their father. People are ignoring Abby.
Oh, she is going through it. Poor Abby. I feel so bad for Abby. She was going through it.
Mm-hmm. Zion and Paul are like kind of hitting it off a bit.
They are. They're becoming friends.
And it's Georgia's really nervous.
Yeah, like, oh, Lord, what's about to happen?
My past is here. And, you know, this is my baby daddy. But also, he's not just my baby daddy. He's my baby daddy, also / husband man. And
he wasn't her husband.
No, but he acts kind of like.
Yeah, he does.
They have that history.
They have that type of.
They have a long
historic relationship.
They're not those type of people that just became friends. They're friends, but also like very into each other.
Lovers.
They're lovers. Ex-lovers,
but current.
Well, yeah. And Ginny has a problem with like her teacher again.
Oh yes.
What's it?
Mr.
Not his name. What's the problem?
Oh, this is when he asked them to do an essay, and Ginny is trying to figure out like what type of essay she want to do, what she want to talk about.
And she starts writing about, I love Wellsbury and my friends.
Like basically about that, but she gets inspired when her dad takes her to like a poetry night, and she see her dad perform some of his poetry and another guy, so. She decides to do poetry as her essay because it's a competition. Which classmate is going to get the best?
He basically tells Ginny to tell her story and not to be generic.
Basically. But Hunter, her boyfriend, or was he her ex by that time?
Boyfriend.
He ends up winning. Because he had a beginning, middle, end. Like, he stuck to the plan.
His speech was conventional.
Yeah, and Ginny's wasn't. According to the teacher, and also according to Hunter, which kind of put a little stumbling block in their relationship.
Not little, a huge one, honestly.
Yeah, she really was like, you're not understanding my point of view as being black and white. And he's like, but I'm half Taiwanese. So they start coming for each other culturally. And baby, he took some blows.
He took some blows.
I was insulted. Some blows.
Like she said some things that probably insulted.
But
but he insulted me.
You ain't have to do us like that.
I was like, okay.
I'm
step back. Who are you? White. The white boy came out. The white boy came out.
This is also the same episode when they reveal how Georgia accidentally killed her first ex-husband.
Oh well, accidentally. She did kill him accidentally, but then at the same time watching that scene, I'm like...
It was like, did she really?
Obviously she did.
Like, it was...
But I'm like, you're not that dumb.
It was so dumb on her behalf. I was like, Georgia, like, come on now, sis.
The thing about Georgia is when she's desperate to escape, she's really smart, but then sometimes she just misses a detail or two.
And I'm like,
you cannot give somebody that many pills and expect them to survive.
No way.
Not at all.
No way. Not all possible.
I was like, you should have done a little less. You should have gave the maximum amount that you could have given him, not more than that. I shouldn't be telling you this, George. Let me shut up. That's not what I mean. What I'm basically trying to say is give him less pills if you're going to do it. She should have read the back of the box.
Yeah, but she was
They tell you how many you're supposed to take in a day.
She was so like, I guess her mind was somewhere else because she knew I had to do something to protect herself and Ginny. And he was kind of forceful, trying to force Georgia to like him and things like that. And she like, sir, you are a grown man. I'm just using you, basically. And he couldn't see that. So she was trying to put him to sleep so they could escape. And
he saw that that's what she was doing.
Forever.
She put him to sleep forever. Then at that point, she was going to call the paramedics or whatever. But she decides not to.
Yeah.
And that's where her first mistake happened. She should have called them
Yeah.
and then just ran away. Maybe she would have gotten in trouble and probably went to jail, but she was going to end up going there anyway.
But she knew that if anything like that was to happen,
Mhm.
that she was gonna lose custody of
Mhm.
of Ginny. So
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second, because why did Georgia take those actions in the first place? She took those actions because she was about to lose custody of Ginny. And she was a teenage mom living on her own, and she was
she
going
needed to
through
act fast.
what was she running away from again?
At that point, she was running away from Zion's parents because they had offered to take full custody of Ginny, and Georgia was like, "No,
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
they
take."
threatened to take the people over child services, threatened to take her child because she wasn't being a fit parent, right?
Yeah,
It was unlivable conditions.
it was unlivable conditions.
For a
and
child.
that was after
Mhm.
the Zion's parents was like, we'll take Ginny and have full custody of her so that you guys could live
Yeah.
a normal life, because they still wanted Zion to go to law school, and Georgia was a homeless 15-year-old child.
Yeah.
So they were trying to, which they wasn't coming from a bad place, but like as a mom, like I'm not gonna let you take my child.
Mhm.
This is the only thing
Well,
that's keeping me alive.
that's the only thing she had.
Exactly.
So they were looking at it from perspective of, yes, taking this child away, but it's for your betterment.
Good, yeah.
You're good.
But they was
they were
actually looking out for Ginny's good instead of Georgia's, if you ask me.
Well, I think they were looking out for Georgia's good, but they were looking at it from perspective where
Ginny.
no, from how they kind of grew up, right?
Yeah.
Georgia grew up at a place where that wasn't a stable home, things like that. They were offering Georgia a place to stay and things to do, right? But they were trying to take full custody of her child away. Georgia didn't have any stable connections in her life at all whatsoever. So the one stable thing that she had, they're basically taking it away from her.
Yeah.
Not out of any place of malice, but it still felt like an intentional attack towards her.
And if you think about it, if you look at Georgia, Georgia's past, she come from an abusive home. Her stepfather was abusing her. Her mother never stood up for her. So in her mind, she may be thinking, what would they do with my child?
You don't know what they would do.
You never know what
Trying to
they
take
would
them
do.
away.
Yeah, like what they would do with my child. So it's all that's probably playing in the back of her head. It's like I can't let her go through what I went through. Ever since she became pregnant, that was her mindset. Like this child's not gonna go through what I went through. So
Georgia is fierce, and she does not want anything bad to happen to her children. And so whenever something bad comes up, whenever she feels like she has to take care of something, that's why they run away.
Run clean away.
That's why they have to start a new life. And she does it again and again and again.
And I wonder if she noticed
again.
how that was like affecting her children.
She did.
Because it's like you keep running away and forcing them to start over. Like that's your life. That's what once you made up in your mind that's what you was gonna do.
Really?
That was your life. But what about Ginny and what about Austin?
I think she noticed it, right? But she didn't notice it to the extent
of how it was harming them.
Yeah. She knew that it was doing something, but she looked at it as a way as we can figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll get past it. We'll move on. She didn't realize how much of a mental toll it was taking on them. And I think that's because she didn't realize how much of a mental toll it was taking on her.
Yeah.
She's haunted by her past. Her sister comes back at some point that hurts her, and she really wants to have a good relationship with her sister, but things don't work out. She has a past with Zion. He's the only good guy that's been in her life. Gil comes back. Gil.
Oh yeah, after
he abused her.
It threatened her, tried to blackmail her.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff to get his life back just because he got caught for doing things that he was doing.
Yeah. Well, she got him put in jail for embezzlement. Yeah. But, he was abusing her.
He was abusing her terribly.
She tried to escape another way, and she felt she had no other way. The thing about Georgia is she always feels like there's no other way. Because she's been trapped in the box so long that when she gets thrown in the box again, she feels like she has to escape. But instead of trying to find, like, the cracks in the box or trying to, cut it open, she basically just rumbles and tumbles the box until she forces it to...
Oh, yeah, like forces it to open.
Force the box to open with her fists. You can get a box cutter and cut out the box, right?
You can.
That's more neat, but it takes a longer time. Right. Well, it seems like it takes longer, but in the moment, you might feel like in order to break down this box, maybe I can just stomp on it and it'll break apart, right? And it does happen, but it leaves a lot of residue. right?
Damage.
It leaves the box is way more damaged than what it would have been if you were just taking your time and cut it.
But she also thinks that she never have time. When something opens up or when something is like ill from her past, it's like, okay, what's my next move? I have to hurry and move. I have to hurry and run away because if I don't, this is going to catch up with me. But it's like, even with her dating Paul and stuff, she's trying to get away from that, but she just don't know how, and that's why she ends up trying to break up with him, which I think happens on the next episode. She tries to break up with him, but in reality, he just wants to marry her. He really does love Georgia for what he thinks she is. And eventually, I mean, he comes to love her even after she opens up about what she's done in her past. She would rather be alone and kind of just try to figure out other stuff than to just keep dragging him on. And that's why I feel like I thought she really cared about him, because all the other men, like her ex-husband, she killed him, and then Gil, she put him in jail. But this guy
It's
really
because she never felt
cares.
safe. And then she's finally feeling safe, and she's finally getting the life that she's wanted, but she never felt that she deserved. And so when she's in a box like that, she feels like she has to run away because she's so used to being in situations where she has to fight for her life. But she's finally in a situation where she doesn't.
Yeah, she really don't.
She doesn't have to fight for her life. She doesn't know how to handle it, and she's still fighting because she feels that if she doesn't fight, if she doesn't handle it, then it's not going to get done. And that affects Jenny, because let's talk about the main thing about Jenny. The main story thread with Jenny in season 1 is her burning.
Yeah,
she's burning.
That was like that really hurt my feelings. That Jenny was doing that to herself, and it was like she would burn herself because she couldn't even. She said it was like a scream that she had to get out, but she couldn't get it out. She would internalize it, burn herself, count to 10, boom, it'll be over.
But it never was truly over.
Yeah, it was never
so
truly
she got
over.
addicted.
She got addicted to doing it when it got really hard for her.
To the point where at first she was just like burning her finger, burning her thigh. It got to the point, like her leg.
Yeah, she burned her thigh.
Yeah,
her
and
inner thigh.
to the point it got too heavy for her to where she had to go even deeper to places where it just
unimaginable.
It's not unimaginable, but
it's unimaginable.
As
you see, like, dang, like, oh wow,
you're surprised, you're shocked.
Yeah,
you're very shocked.
She began to talk about it in therapy, and she opens up to her father about it. Let's talk about the fact when she opened up to Georgia, like. Georgia immediately is trying to figure out, why are you doing this? I guess it was just like a cry for help, but she couldn't cry, if that makes sense.
And that's the thing with a lot of addictions that go on. You don't really know how you get there. You don't really have the foresight to know. You can have the hindsight, right?
Yeah.
You can't really have the foresight to know why. When you look back, you can tell the reasons why, right?
Yeah.
But when you don't deal with the situation for so long,
right then and there,
and you're in the situation, you don't really know. She knows that her feeling bad causes her, but she doesn't know why she started burning.
Why? Yeah.
Like the trajectory.
Because if you pay attention to the episode, when she got to therapy and the lady asked her why, it was like she was 12 years old. And it's like, what triggered you up to that point of being 12 years old that they like will cause you to do that, you know? And she would do it if you pay attention. It's like when she saw Georgia and Zion, they had accidentally slept together. Like that was one of the things that triggered it. Like it was just, or when she was at the party, I forget what happened at the party. And it's like she ran to the bathroom while she wasn't even at home, and it was like something triggered it. It was something that always triggers it, but it's usually something that deals with like her mom. Or like something dealing with like her mom's past or anything that like kind of.
That's where all her traumatic situations lie. Where all the traumatic events in her life lie. Because her mom was getting abused.
Yep.
They were running away a lot. She never had people to connect to or talk to. She was never connected to her black side. So be it the only black person she ever saw was her father.
Yep.
She saw her family sometimes, but not a lot. So you were running away. All you knew was run away. And you had no one to express that to because your mother was the one causing the running away. Not causing it, but she was the one initiating the running. She was the one initiating them running away, right? So when all you know is that, you don't know how to deal with your feelings because you aren't taught how to healthily and properly deal with your feelings. You're going to turn to something on your own to try to do it
like
yourself.
Actually, that's what it is. She turned to herself. Because I feel like people go through stuff. It's either when you're going through stuff, you're either going to start attacking yourself or you're going to start attacking other people.
Because at that, well, she does both.
Like Austin.
She does, but Ginny does both too. She attacks people, but instead of physically like Austin, she attacks people emotionally.
Yeah, she was tearing them down with
when
words.
she's triggered, she uses her words because Ginny is very smart, and she has no way to express her feelings properly, right? So she
doesn't know how.
She doesn't know how. When she feels attacked, she goes into defense mode.
Yeah, and starts attacking others
too.
Terrible. But it is definitely a defense mechanism that I feel most
people have because most people aren't taught how to healthily solve those emotional situations, right?
They don't.
I saw someone on Twitter like that. Somebody put it. I took pictures of it too. I might find it one day.
Yeah.
I might find it.
If you have a trigger, when someone's attacking you, you more than likely will either attack them, attack someone else, or even turn on yourself. It just depends on the circumstance. I feel like a lot of people go through that. A lot of people don't even know how to deal with their emotions. And that's what's wrong with society. So while my brother is looking for his tweet that he screenshotted, because he stay on Twitter like white on rice, we're going to talk about the fact of, let's see. So in episode 9, Marcus gets into a motorcycle crash. I believe this was the beginning parts, slowly showing his depressive state.
Showing it in the story because he was already depressed.
He was depressed, but this is when it started to really show. So after that, Georgia, she tries to keep Zion at a distance because she's with Paul, but I guess old feelings kind of flamed. Old flames flamed.
As Ginny says, every time Zion comes back to come into their lives, well, he's always in their lives, but every time he comes back, like physically there to stay with them, he and Georgia always end up coming back together and then blowing up.
This made Ginny question how long Zion was going to be there because he would come back and visit them wherever they would be, but he would always leave. And so she felt like there will always be something going on between him and Georgia that will always cause him to leave. So she's like, okay, well, when are you going to leave this time? He opened up to her and was like that he was going to move to Boston. He was going to stay, which I guess gave her some type of relief, but also worried her at the same time because she's like, yeah, I'm happy you're here, but is this going to mess up what my mom and Paul have going on? And then the flashback, because in each episode, there's a flashback from someone's past. It's usually Georgia. And so, mind you, they still have Jesse looking for Georgia, trying to frame her. Well, not frame her, but trying to get her arrested for killing her ex-husband. And that's when they find out some information about her ex-husband, like how he was killed or whatever. Then they try to go to his grave and finds out that he's missing. So, Georgia's on the back end, on her P's and Q's.
Georgia has his ashes.
Yes.
I don't know when she cremated him.
Yeah. I'm like, was he cremated after the funeral? Because guess what?
He had to be. Unless it was closed
casket and no one knew anything. They probably put his casket up in there, buried and all, and never opened to see if the man was in there. And she probably had him cremated.
And the funny thing about it is she has them in her closet.
Yep. Kind of creepy. But
no, that's not the only thing she has in her closet though.
She has a lot of stuff in her closet.
She has Austin sends letters to his dad. She has those and she hides them in her closet.
She does.
And
she writes
them back
to him, making it seem like
she's Gil.
It's Gil, but it's not.
Just another thing.
Something else that Austin discovered. He's only 9 years old, so he's seen a lot and been through a lot and starting to see why he acts out and stuff.
Bursts.
Yeah, he skipped school for a whole week. She was dropping him off, but he would wait till she leave to go somewhere else.
Run in the forest. I thought he was about to get attacked by a wolf or something and go in the hospital.
He was hiding. And the whole time, his mom didn't even know up until
the teacher
was like, oh, we thought were you sick? She was like, what do you mean? He missed the whole week of school, blah, blah, blah.
She had to pretend like he was sick.
Yeah.
So.
One thing about Georgia, though, is she has her children's back. She gonna ride or die for them. But that's the problem.
This show shows people having their back a lot, though. They show it in both healthy and unhealthy ways. Because Georgia does it in a lot of unhealthy ways, but she does it in a lot of healthy ways as well.
Yeah.
And also another way that they show healthy friendship for the most part is through Mang.
Mang definitely shows
Maxine,
healthy.
Abby,
Nora
and Ginny. I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
But
they do. But there comes a point where they break up as a friend group, and it's just Maxine and Nora, and then Abby, and then Ginny. But then Abby and Ginny become cool. Yeah, they come cool
Nah.
again. It's a whole thing because
it shows.
Ooh.
It actually shows how fragile like teenage relationships
oh
can
my
be,
gosh,
but
so
also how
fragile.
strong they could be at the same time.
Yes.
Because they came back together eventually, and they hugged each other.
And
Eventually, they talked
she
to each
had a
other.
reason. Maxine did have a reason to be upset.
She did, but she overreacted.
I
quite a
mean,
bit.
she overreacted so bad.
As teenagers do.
I'm like, girl, it is seriously not even that deep.
She treated it like it was the end of her life.
Yeah.
That her brother
As
was having
teenagers
sex
do.
with her best friend.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, she should have told you,
But my God.
but you treated it like she killed
And then
you,
she kind of
resurrected
had
you, and then killed you again. And
Maxine
then
was kind of focused like a me
filmed
me
it.
person. So it's like even when Ginny tried to open up and come to her, it was like something was always going on in her life, in Maxine's life, where
Yeah.
Ginny was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm not gonna worry about it because it would just destroy you, and you already then sat here got destroyed because you sat here and got with Sophie, and Sophie didn't really want you. Then they say no, Sophie ends up with a guy.
Sophie
All of this stuff.
is Maxine's
Girlfriend, maybe.
girlfriend and then ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she tries to come back later on. Stays
We're
ex.
not going for none of that.
She stays ex.
That's
Good
usually
good for Max.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens in the last episode.
We
Season 1.
We really described this like very horribly.
You guys are just gonna have to watch it for yourself. It's a lot going on, but it's structured.
I gotta say that because I'm gonna have to edit this, and I'm gonna have to make this sound structured.
It's
I'm gonna have to make this sound
want to be
structured.
structured. You ain't gotta be structured all the time in life. Okay? Keep that in there. For all the people who feel unstructured in life, feel like you're trying to get it together, you don't have to always be structured because guess what? It's going to all come together one day.
Okay, and so season 2, well, let's talk about the big things that happened in the season finale.
Oh, child, I don't even remember. I'm tired. Let me see. I think this is the part where
So I took notes.
Yeah, Austin. This is when Austin kept missing school for about a week. Jenny, of course, cut off from the friend group.
Jenny's friends are ignoring her. Austin is running away from school. Georgia wants to throw a party. She wants to throw a murder mystery party.
Oh God, yes. Can't forget about that.
The teacher.
This
the
is
teacher.
when,
No, wait. Mr. Mitten, he goes on a rant. He goes on a little rant
his name is
about
Gittin.
getting. Same difference. MG.
So wrong.
He goes on a rant on how the N-word is really problematic, but it wasn't back then.
Yeah, so he tries to justify it. It's like, sir, please shut up.
And then he was like, oh, and the book was written by a woman. And also he points Jenny out in the class.
He was like, right, Jenny?
Right, Jenny?
Like,
That was weird.
sir,
That
you
was
don't
real
have to do all
weird.
that.
And then so she has to leave and go to the bathroom, but that's when
Mhm.
Bracia comes in and comforts her.
Yeah.
Because she and Bracia had like this little animosity thing going on.
I guess, yeah, you could say.
Antagonistic little thing, but mostly that was just in Jenny's head. And yeah, his name is Mr. Bitten.
Yeah. Gittin.
Oh, it's Gittin.
What did you write down?
gee.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but he also said he kept calling her B in class.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't pronounce
Bracia,
Bracia. I'm like,
yeah.
how can you not pronounce this?
He just had issue, and
Because I bet you if she was
Gittin.
white, he would have been saying Bracia.
he would have said
He would've said
Bracia. Or
Bracia.
if she was any other like foreign or something like that, he would have been like, oh.
But basically, Bracia and Jenny bond over their tokenism.
By their teacher. Nick, remember Nick is the what's he to the mayor? The campaign manager. He finds big amounts of money that Cynthia accused Georgia of stealing.
Embezzling.
He finds it missing. So Georgia comes clean to Nick about that.
It wasn't missing. She returned it.
She returned
but
it.
It showed that
But yeah,
it
showed that the amount was taken out from the account. What else happens? Of course.
Oh, so wait, Jenny, her friends have been ignoring
going at
her.
it, yeah.
She didn't know why.
Yeah.
And so they had a big blowout by the end of that episode.
And then
She asked Samantha about it, and Samantha's
yeah.
just being a little jerk.
She was getting on my nerves. And then when Paul wins the election, Georgia has Kenny's ashes thrown into the fireworks. Like,
Wait, she did
she
that?
put it in his fireworks.
I don't remember that. I probably wasn't.
Yeah.
So she threw his ashes?
She had the ashes put into the fireworks. So when it exploded, remember, because Jesse had confronted her at that at the election thingy, and then they was having words. And so towards the end, all you see is like the fireworks, and you see her turn around looking at him like, boom, there go the ashes. His body wasn't in there, so he knew, oh, he must have cremated or something.
Oh, this also is the episode where Joe finds out that Jenny is the girl he gave sunglasses to.
True.
I mean, Georgia is the girl he gave the sunglasses to, not Jenny.
Now, that's when he started having flashbacks and like, oh, that's her. But see, Georgia had already knew that was him.
Yeah. And he was going to confess to her, too, until he finds out that Georgia is now engaged to Paul.
Paul, the mayor.
And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. I'm like, yeah.
So much going on in the episode.
Oh, and then there's some sing. I put some about sing in my notes. Oh, that's that little play they did. The little play. That's where they had the argument.
That's when they had the argument because
that's
when Max found out about everything.
Yeah.
And then Ginny come asking Abby, and she was like, you knew? Like, it was terrible.
Let me break it down, okay? So Ginny was sleeping with Marcus. Ginny was with Marcus, I should say. Abby kissing him. They found out that they were secretly in a romantic entanglement. Abby caught them and found out about it, but she told Ginny not to say anything to Max because it wasn't the time or the place to do that.
Max was
already going through heartbreak with Sophie
and trying to do the play
and doing the play.
So she was going through that.
So she told her not to say anything. They ended up finding out about it. Max,
how did she end up finding?
Max,
I think it was through the phone. Like, did she see?
She saw
the text messages.
So Marcus ended up in a motorcycle accident. Maxine ended up finding his phone.
Yep.
She found out that
Ginny was texting him.
And obviously she knows they had a number, but she found out they were talking.
She was like trying to figure out,
quotations. They were romantically entwined. She saw the pictures of Ginny. She and he.
Not just that picture.
They masturbated, okay?
Ginny also sent him a picture because what happened was Ginny was trying to send this picture of herself in her brassiere.
Yeah.
To Hunter. When she sent to Hunter.
Toothbrushes.
Hunter didn't respond. So she's like, thinking that he's not attracted to her. So she sends it to Marcus. That was really dumb on her behalf. But of course, she's attracted to him. She's liking him or whatever. So she asking him, do he think it's sexy? Max seen all of that.
She saw everything. So she told Abby and Nora. Nora didn't know. Abby knew. Abby pretended like she didn't know. All right, it's all revealed at Sing Sing backstage where Ginny was trying to talk to Maxine to figure out why she was mad. Maxine revealed that she found out that she was sleeping with her brother.
Yeah. And then he said it was a mistake.
We'll get to that.
Rude tale.
Then
revealed that Abby
knew. So she ends up getting mad at Abby as well because she feels her life is ruined. Nora is a bit upset too, not as upset as Maxine. Then he says it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Hunter is there and finds out.
It's just like, whoa, like, folded back to back to back to back. So that's why they're friend group.
As all truths do, if you continue to lie, they all unravel at the same time, I've noticed. Yeah. Life is funny that way. And so Ginny ends up hanging out with the black friends eventually because they accept her. But she does feel out of place.
Yeah, she does. Because, mind you, she just came from hanging around a whole bunch of whites and such.
Paul wins the election because Cynthia ran against him. Cynthia is the woman we mentioned earlier. And Cynthia is revealed that her husband is dying.
Yeah, he's sick.
It's revealed to the viewer because apparently everyone else knew.
Except for us.
But us.
And that's probably why her son Zach was acting out, maybe. It's because his dad was sick. And he was bullying Austin. But they turn out towards the middle of the show. They end up getting cool and stuff. And yeah, that worked out too. But it also happened they ended up being cool. And also Georgia and Cynthia ended up being cool as well. To a certain extent.
Jesse the PI tells Ginny that her mom is a murderer.
Yeah. You see, this is the thing I had against him. I understand you coming for her mom and trying to take her mom down, but what kind of person tells that to someone's child that their parent is a murderer? What do you expect? Murderer. What do you expect?
Murder. Your mom's a murderer.
Expect Ginny
you murder
to think, and that's why, in one of the episodes,
he expected her to turn her in.
Yeah, that's not about to happen. You don't even understand, sir, about how much that's not about to happen. And he comes and tries to talk to her again. And he was like, I understand you don't like me. She was like, no, I hate you. Why would you think that she would actually be like, oh, yeah, Jesse, when she knows that you're falsifying your identity as well? So it's
she wants to protect her mom because her mom protects her. But she ends up burning the flower that her mother used.
Yep.
And then running away on the motorcycle. And that's the end of season 1.
Yeah. She stole Marcus's motorcycle.
Georgia was excited. She's like, you're coming to the election party, right? She was excited. She was excited to see her kids there, all her hard work. And then she comes home to see if they ran away.
They ran away. They were gone.
gone.
And they
Flowers
went to
burned.
her father.
Zion. And that's the end of season 1.
Yeah.
We poorly
We
explained that.
And it has worn me out to butts.
See, because it wore me out watching this and taking all of these notes.
That's why I just watched it, guys.
Yeah, but I'm the type of person who watches stuff, and sometimes if it's a lot, it'll come back, but it's not going to come back all at once. And then season 2 comes. Season 2 is better. This is when we
find out.
It's the better season.
This is when Georgia meets Paul's parents.
Yes, because it starts off as a Christmas episode.
They are not too fond of Georgia. Like her dad, like his dad is like, she's pretty, but she's not wife material. That's what he thinks. Because, mind you, they ask about her, they find out that she's 30, she has a 15-year-old and a 9-year-old, and she has 2 different baby daddies. So it's like, oh, who are you? And I think that they think that she's in it for the money. In reality, she's not. They really didn't try to get to know her that well in the beginning of them, like, dating and
It's
stuff.
just they prematurely judge her.
And then one of the things, when Jenny finds out that her mother had killed Kenny and stuff, and she was doing all this stuff, it took
Kenny was the husband.
toll on her. Yeah, Kenny.
His name was Kenny.
Yeah, I remember.
His second husband.
That's when she had that dream about Georgia smothering her with the pillow. Oh, it was so intense.
It reminded me of that dream I had when Professor X smothered me with his. I used to watch a lot of X-Men Evolution, and watched too much X-Men, and
he took him out.
He killed me.
Mm-hmm.
But I woke up, so it's a lie for me.
Right. So that took a toll on Jenny, because she was dreaming about stuff like that, and she didn't want to go back home. She wanted to stay with her dad.
Abby continues to try to be friends with Maxine and Nora again.
Yeah, she keeps trying to
Maxine is a jerk.
And then, Abby, they kind of have, like, this little her and Nora, because Jenny and Abby had, like, this little thing against Nora, because remember, Nora was, like, with Maxine and just being on her side, and, like, she wasn't talking to Jenny or to Abby. She just was kind of on Maxine's side. And they're like, well, why? So then Jenny, Abby, and Marcus starts hanging out.
Well, they don't really have a thing against Nora. I mean,
they just try to understand, like, why she
but they talk way more about Maxine. I don't know what happened with
that part.
I'm saying they talk way more about Maxine than they talk about Nora, because Nora is trying to be more like the middleman. She's on Maxine's side because it wasn't okay what they did, but she's the first one to go and talk to them because she's had enough of Maxine's little tantrums. And, well, I don't know. Maxine is just a jerk.
Yeah.
Abby
she is.
Maxine, if we skip forward, Maxine has a birthday. And Abby puts up a banner for her saying happy birthday. And she looks at her, rips it down, and then walks away. And like especially teenage girls can be quite vicious.
She was so vicious to that poor child.
She told Jenny not to tell you so you wouldn't overreact.
Yeah.
Like you're doing right now.
She found out anyway.
So she overreacted anyway. So it's like the first part of season 2, like the first 2 or 3 episodes, focuses on Jenny moving back with Georgia, her mom. Mm-hmm. They come to blows a lot over tons of things. Yes. Jenny tells her father about her burning. Mm-hmm. She goes to therapy. It takes them a while to actually reconcile. But the reason
why she went to therapy in the first place was because, remember, Zion was going to tell Georgia that Jenny was burning herself. And so Jenny was like, she'll stay with Georgia. And then that's when she started going to therapy.
So she didn't decide to go to therapy beforehand?
I don't remember, but I remember
I think she decided to
go
to
maybe she did. Beforehand. She did go to therapy beforehand.
No, she didn't go. She decided to go. But she still didn't want to tell her mom.
She didn't want Georgia knowing that she was burning herself. And Zion, being a dad, of course, he was going to tell because he was concerned. But that's how she ended up staying, moving back in with Georgia so that he wouldn't tell.
Paul is moving because Georgia and Paul get together and they get engaged.
So he moving in with her.
So Paul moves in. Jenny and Austin move back in. Zion stays so he can stay around them more. Mm-hmm. They go to school again. And the musical,
they have the musical happening.
School musical is happening. Nick has a problem with Georgia a bit because she cheated. Well, she didn't cheat. I don't know what she did.
The money thing. The money thing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Nick. I'm thinking of, not Nick.
Joe?
Jenny's boyfriend, Jenny's ex.
Hunter?
I was thinking of Hunter. Nick and Hunter, I got confused.
Why does Nick and Hunter have issues? They don't really talk to each other.
I was saying Hunter had a problem with Jenny.
Okay.
But I was thinking of Nick.
Yeah, they have issues. because, of course, he found out that she was sleeping with Marcus. So
Yes, and then Nick and Georgia also
naturally,
have issues because he found out she was embezzling money.
it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. He looks past that, and they do actually become really good friends.
And Bracia and Ginny become really good friends.
They do.
And eventually, you know what? Mang makes up. They have a talk. They talk it all out. Bracia and Ginny are good friends now. So Bracia ends up becoming friends with the other girls as well.
Especially Matt.
There's a school musical. There's a new guy named Brian. He's not new. There's an old guy named Brian, but he's new in this season. He was always there. But
Bracia has a crush on him. And
Bracia
turns
has
out
a crush on him. He
has
has a crush on her
as well.
Maxine has a new girl named Silver, but she still obsesses over Sophie.
Oh, God, just let Sophie go. Let her go.
Nora has a few problems with her boyfriend.
He didn't even know. Maxine did not even know that Silver was attracted to her in that way. But when she found out, she was kind of being hesitant with this one, I guess, because she didn't want like her heart to be broken again, like Sophie did her. But it's like you could still see that Silver really liked her. Sophie looked like she was just kind of straddling the fence.
Marcus and Ginny are together. Hunter and Ginny become friends again.
Yeah, they become friends.
They all become buddy eventually. There's a lot that we're skipping over, but that's just this is how it's gonna be.
Austin becomes cool with Zach, and Gil comes back into life.
Gil, okay, so earlier in the series there is a flashback. There are a lot of flashbacks in the show to show what goes on in the past, especially with Georgia in her life, where Georgia was in an apartment with Austin and Ginny, and she turns up the music loudly, and they start dancing and hitting on pots and pans because it's not revealed in the scene the first time. Yeah. Because there's and calling George's name. It's revealed later on in the series that was Gil, because Gil was an abusive piece of ugliness. Trash. Yes. He's played by Aaron Ashmore, by the way. And Aaron Ashmore is the twin brother of Shawn Ashmore. And if you know who Shawn Ashmore is, he plays in a lot of things.
I don't know who that is.
He plays in like X-Men movies. He was Iceman in X-Men and X2 and X3.
Okay.
And X-Men Days of Future Past.
We get it.
But Shawn Ashmore is very famous. His brother, not so famous, but they're twins. But he plays in Georgia's ex.
Baby.
And at first he was all suave. I make money.
We should have knew this. Something was wrong with you.
Gil. He throws her into walls.
Yes, he verbally abuses her as well.
Physically abusing too. Slams her hand into a wall.
Yes, because her
hand specifically.
She pulled a gun on him in one episode, and he oh, you're gonna kill Austin, trying to manipulate her. And so she points at him, and he takes her hand and beats her hand until she drops the gun.
Yeah, he does it. So the gun was in the past. He does it with the knife in the present.
And he comes to her house trying to be controlling, talking about he could do whatever he want because he think that because he was in jail for the stuff that he did, he blames Georgia. He feel like he can use her and abuse her to get back to his normal life.
And this is all happening while Georgia's trying to join the neighborhood club. Mm-hmm. She tries to get Cynthia to help her. Cynthia's like, no. She goes to the meeting for Georgia, but she basically said, don't bring her in this club.
Yeah, don't let her
she's
in.
not it. She's evil.
Don't accept her.
And that's how her and Gil end up becoming friends.
Close, yeah.
Until she sees that Gil abuses Georgia. But also Cynthia gets involved with Joe because she's very sad that her husband is dying.
So they have a little flingity-dingity.
They have two, actually. 2 or 3. 2 or 3 flings.
Just say a flingly-dingly, which means it's cut.
But when you have one fling, it's different from having another. A fling is a one-time thing. They have multiple flings.
And it's kind of weird because where did that come from?
It came from the loneliness and the wine.
Know, but I'm saying who thought to write that into the show is what I'm saying.
The Cynthia Sims.
Because baby.
They love Cynthia.
I was too shook.
No, but Cynthia and Joe have a thing, but she breaks it off.
Of course, yeah, because
she still loves her husband.
She still loves her husband, even though he's about to be dead.
And Joe still loves Georgia.
And Cynthia kind of sees that he is attracted to
He is hung up on Georgia for the whole season.
For 15 years.
And it's
oh my gosh.
but let's Let's not.
Then let's get to the part when Ginny starts going to therapy. So she starts going to therapy.
She has a black
First,
therapist.
yes, she doesn't even tell her mom. Like her mom finds
Which
out
is
that
understandable,
she's in therapy because of the
sadly.
journal that Ginny had. So then Georgia being Georgia, of course, she's not for therapy. She's against therapy. She goes to the therapy
It's not
session.
that she's against therapy. It's just she thinks that she doesn't. Well, she is against therapy,
She's
but
against
she
therapy.
thinks that therapy is useless and for crazy
Yeah,
people.
she thinks it's for crazy people. Like, she's not crazy. But anywho.
Therapy is for all. That's the point.
She, like, goes to the therapy session with Ginny, and it's just, like, that whole scene it was kind of funny because she's, like, already defensive because she's trying to figure out why Ginny is talking to this stranger, quote unquote, and not her.
Wait.
Like,
Well, there's a reason. Well, there's a reason why she's not talking to you.
it's so funny, and I'm just like,
And that's all
Ginny.
revealed, but mostly it's because Georgia is a force, like Ginny likes to say.
yes.
And when Ginny tells her things, she goes and does crazy things, such as when she finds out about her teacher, she goes and brings adult magazine and gin to stick into his desk so he can get caught in fire. That's not okay.
Ginny catches her and stops her
She catches
crazy
her.
mama. I'm
her.
like,
And her excuse, I will do anything for you. And that's good, Georgia. But when anything means getting her teacher fired because you don't agree with his racist tactics, well, getting him fired in a way that's just not okay.
It's just not okay because why? Just why, Georgia? Of all the things that you could think about doing, I guess she felt like playing the race card wouldn't do nothing because, of course, it's a PWI. So she like, well, if I'm a shoot below the belt. We're going to take him all the way out of here. But luckily, Ginny caught her before she was able to do
anything
that.
for you, Ginny.
It's terrible. It's just like, I can't believe that.
And so
I can't believe that's your mom.
She ends up going to therapy with her eventually too.
Yes.
After finding out that she burns herself.
She needs some help.
And they have a heart to heart. But then Ginny, it becomes this thing that they're all in this together type of thing now too. Now that Ginny knows what's going on, at least, it becomes...
Her mom became very open after therapy. She started admitting everything.
Well, no, not everything.
She was like, yeah. Well, she opened up about like
She opens
being
up more to
sexually
Ginny.
abused by her stepfather. And why, like, when she saw, there was a scene when they were doing yoga and Georgia went to go fix Kenny, her ex-husband, some breakfast because he was getting ready to go to work. He begins to touch on Ginny. Georgia sees that. So it's like, okay, I don't want my child to go through that because I went through that. So instead of just like confront him about it, she just killed them. And it's probably what she wants to do with her stepfather, but she didn't.
Because Zion's
basically stopped her. She shot him in the hand, but she really wanted to shoot him in the head, duh. But so she like, and so for my daughter not to go through this, I'm gonna go to the extreme to just like eliminate him off earth, period, so that she don't have to go through that. Ginny finds that out.
And in a funny little scene earlier when Ginny moves back, she fixes breakfast for Paul and gets him the blue drink with what I'm assuming has something in it. I don't know. That scene confused me.
Oh my God, yes. The scene where Ginny finds out that her mom, Georgia, had put that poisonous flower in the stepdad's drink. So Ginny finds that out. So the next day, she fixed Paul a very blue smoothie because...
A smoothie.
Yeah.
It reminded
Georgia that that's what she did to
Kenny.
To Kenny. So it was like a little like, so you want to do that type of...
Then she steals the credit card.
Yes.
We're going back and forth of everything that happened to the season. But what you need to know is eventually they reconcile after going to therapy. Georgia has a problem. She ends up Georgia reads Ginny's journal. That's how she figures out Ginny's burning. Ginny is very traumatized by the things that she learns about her mom, but she knows that she can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
She ends up telling not Austin.
Not Austin.
No, obviously. I couldn't think of the name. Marcus. She ends up telling Marcus because Austin is her 9-year-old brother.
Oh my!
Her 10-year-old brother. She shouldn't tell him that.
Sure shouldn't.
She tells Marcus because she alludes to it a lot. She's like, I know things that my mom did. She's a horrible person, but I can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I can't do this. And She eventually tells Marcus about it, and he's so nonchalant about it, which is hilarious. I was like, what's going on here? Because he's nonchalant about it. He's like, yeah, I can believe that your mom would do that.
Yeah.
Not because she's a bad person, but because she gets what she wants.
Because he know because he watches her. And then, mind you, smoke sessions with this man.
She had a boy, with a boy.
With this young man, this boy, teenage boy.
She had it one time to threaten him. Twice.
She
smoked him the second time?
When she came upstairs, remember? And he was in a closet. And she was like, Marcus, you're in there?
Yeah, that's the first time.
Smoking. Second time was when he was depressed. He was really depressed. And I remember having that conversation with his mom. And so then Georgia went out to talk to him, and they had a little smokey smoke session then.
Yeah, but the first time she was threatening him. She was telling him, like, don't hold her back. Do you really want to hold her back? I know. Because she misjudged him.
And maybe that's what triggered his...
It did trigger it.
Yeah, because after that, he was like, oh, it takes so much to love, and it takes so much to be loved.
Well, it took a while. It was a long burn of other things probably happening. But he fell into his depression again because he felt he wasn't good enough for Ginny.
He felt he wasn't good enough for Ginny.
And he felt like he's only happy with Ginny, and that's a lot to put on one person.
That's a lot to put on one person.
Which is true.
Which is so true. Like, one person should not be responsible for your happiness. You know, if you want to be happy and joyous, try Jesus.
And
let that be.
Also,
if you just could narrow it down to one person.
Be happy with yourself.
Be happy with yourself. And then nothing's wrong with allowing someone to make you happy. Like, if someone makes you happy, nothing's wrong with that.
People should not make you happy. People should be an extension of your happiness.
Yeah, like, nothing's wrong with, like, someone, you know, like, you be around and be so happy. Nothing's wrong with that. But we just saying, don't let it just be.
There's nothing wrong with experiencing happiness.
Person.
When you're with other people. There is something wrong with you. With you putting your happiness into one person.
Into them. Or into even multiple people. My bad. Or into even multiple people. Like, you're not happy unless you're around this type of these friends. Or you're not happy unless you're around that person. Like, don't let your life become that. Try your hardest to be happy.
It's easier said than done. But we're not getting that. We're not
it
giving
is
advice.
Easier said than done. But we're just saying it is possible.
We're talking about what's going on the show.
It's possible. That's all I got to say. It's a lot going down. And then you know what I also like? Marcus and Maxine's dad is deaf. So, you know, they do sign language. I like how they incorporated that into the show. Like, still give him his own personality and stuff. And still give him, like, the parts where he's, like, allowed to be a dad. Because you find him in certain episodes giving them advice. Or being there for them. Like when, what's her name? Max is, like, in the play and stuff.
It was good to see that sort of representation. Seeing someone...
Because you don't see that often.
Represented as a human being and not as their
disability.
Because he's not his disability.
He's just a human being.
He's just a human being.
He's a husband. He's a dad.
And I think that shows that they also did with that with Marcus. Marcus is not just his depression.
He's a human being too, and you could see that like in certain parts of different episodes. That is cool.
So yeah, eventually in season 2, what happens at the end of season 2? Oh, the marriage. Paul and Georgia are engaged. Yes. Everybody reconciles by the end.
They do.
But Ginny and Marcus do break up because Marcus is extremely depressed. Ginny thinks it's about her, but
they reconcile at the end.
They reconcile and become friends.
She said she's going to be there for him anyway.
She does make it about her, but the only evidence she had was what he didn't tell her.
What he didn't tell her, so and what she had to hear.
What she heard from the outside. She couldn't really gauge what reason it was besides what she knew.
She looked at herself like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? And it wasn't about her.
Which is a thing that a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely
what
true.
Did I do wrong? And that really caused them to break up. And he's quite depressed, and he's just not in a place for a relationship.
Yeah, he's not. Because he doesn't have a lot to be poured out of him.
Capacity.
And he also, like he said he just don't have room. Like
he
that's
doesn't
true.
have
Sometimes
room.
you just don't have room for that. You still trying to, you know what I'm saying, get
he's
your ducks in a row.
He's trying to work on himself.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he handled it in the best way, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't handle it in the best way either.
No, she did not.
Not
at all.
It's a lot of miscommunication and jumping to conclusions there. But they end up breaking up but stay friends.
They do.
Abby, her friend, starts to pay a little bit more attention to her.
Yeah.
But still not enough because
she and Press have a little fling. But
Press is
Nora,
such a jerk.
He is such a jerk.
They
Nora
need to develop
catches
his
them.
character more.
Nora catches them and basically tells Abby that she's better than that.
Yeah.
Which she really is.
And they have a conversation. They have a heart-to-heart. But as soon as they continue to go, Nora's boyfriend gets in the way.
Yeah. What's his name? Jordan.
Jordan's
His
his
name?
name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can never remember it.
And so that's
Yeah.
that's that moment when Abby sees Samantha coming out of
The bathroom.
Yeah.
She
But,
deals with bulimia.
Yeah,
okay.
she deals with bulimia.
Yeah,
and so,
okay.
Abby takes a stab at it or tries to. I don't know.
She-
they didn't even
she-
get into that.
She
like,
turns on the water.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
didn't
all
even
we
get into it. So I
They
just
alluded to it.
assumed. Yeah. So then, the same season where Cynthia and Georgia become closer, she finds out about Joe.
This is Georgia in her purest form.
It is. She finds out about Joe.
Not that part, but the part where she
Not that part.
kills.
She kills Cynthia's husband, Tom.
Now she doesn't just
Let's
go and
backtrack
murder.
on why.
She doesn't just go and
why
murder
she
the
did
guy.
that.
So let's. Paul is on his death. Tom is on his
Tom.
deathbed. Tom is on his deathbed. He is in a coma.
Yes.
So
Completely unresponsive.
So he's not just this alive man that she just like killed in his sleep.
It's taking a mental toll
It takes
on
a toll on
Cynthia.
She just wants Tom to know that everything is okay and that he can let go.
But he's not letting go.
He's not letting go, and Georgia feels quite bad about it.
Yeah.
Especially since Cynthia has taken up for her and saved her from Gil.
Yes.
Georgia just wants Cynthia to be happy.
Yeah.
And she promises to take care of him.
Jesus. Yes.
But the thing is, this happens in a narrative, very excellent narrative, like way, I should say, narratively, where they have one episode that doesn't focus on Ginny and Georgia. It focuses on the outsider's perspective.
Yes.
So it focuses on everybody else besides Ginny and Georgia. Yeah. And so you have some of these things going on, like when Ginny and Marcus break up. You're like, where did Georgia come to this conclusion? So Ginny come to this conclusion as to where he didn't like her anymore. That's revealed in the next episode.
Later, yeah.
So the narration is done by Marcus.
It was kind of refreshing to see that, like to see them do another character and do like their point of view.
That's how the episode starts, and the episode ends with Marcus's narration.
Yeah.
And every single thing that happens after that focuses on a different character's point of view. Padma.
Yeah, Padma. She had her moment.
She is such a good character that I hope they use more.
She is. She
I
just
really like her.
She needed to know why. Like why her and Marcus never officially got together, but they kept hooking up. And
she's such a sweet person because she treats him like a human being and notices that he has his own stuff that he has to go through. While also showing that her pain also needs to be validated as well. She's not saying that his pain is less than. She just wants to know why.
Why, like,
was I treated this way?
Yeah.
Because she's still very sweet to Ginny.
Mm-hmm. Because she even told Ginny that, like, Marcus would be a fool if he broke up with her. And this was, like, right before.
And he would. And he did.
He did. But this was right before that. Like, that's why Ginny was like, what, did he say something? She was just saying, but she realized that Ginny was a good person, that she was good for Marcus. She wasn't like a person that was like, oh, I hate Ginny, I'm going to destroy her. Or, oh,
they
I
do
hate
a good job in the show with showing showing strong female relationships in general. It's a good balance of you have some toxic relationships, but a lot of the relationships are healthy. And it's not showing girls catfighting over a boy. Because what reason would they have to fight over Marcus? Obviously.
None. He ain't all that. I'm just kidding.
None. Because
no reason, really.
They have nothing against each other. So why would they fight?
They don't.
Why would they fight each other over this boy? There's really no reason.
Remember when Hunter punched Marcus in the face?
Yes.
Sorry, guys. You're gonna have to watch that.
Even Hunter and Marcus, after that punch, like, they are cool with each other.
There was no beef.
Because they know that everybody was going through their own little things.
You know what I've noticed? I see this note where you put flashback to Georgia trying to talk to some teenage girls, but they realized she had a baby. Yeah. She was trying to fit in too.
Yeah.
But I just realized that.
Yeah, because Georgia never had a regular life. She never had the experience that Ginny is finally having.
Yep.
Ginny never had that experience either.
She did.
But, well, no, let's not say that. Georgia probably did have that experience. But after a while, it stopped after she got pregnant and ran away from home.
Yep.
Plus, she was being abused at home, right?
Abused.
So she knows a lot of things about teenage girls that Ginny doesn't.
Mm-hmm. She does.
But Ginny experiences more healthy teenage relationships
than Georgia
does. Healthy relationships in general when it comes to romantic relationships until Paul comes in the picture. Something's the matter with you.
Sorry. Let's continue. So, yeah, Paul and Georgia are about to get married, but before that, Ginny finds out.
Which part are we talking about?
Ginny finds out that Georgia had ended up calling the venue and canceling the wedding.
Yes, she did.
Because she felt bad about all the bad stuff that she had done, and Paul didn't know. So it was like her form of protecting Paul and running away.
She was about to run away again.
But she stood up, did what she had to do, told them. And so Ginny was like, okay, this wedding's going to keep going. So she planned everything. Right before the wedding is a scene with Nick and Jesse. And so prior to that, Nick did tell Georgia that Jesse was being distant. He was being a little off. And so Georgia was like basically telling him, like, if he's being distant, don't worry about him. Leave him alone, whatever. And Nick just takes it as her just not liking Jesse. He have a different reasoning of why Georgia don't like Jesse rather than what's the actual reason.
I'm sorry.
Which is the fact that he's a personal investigator trying to take her down, a private investigator. So we get to the scene where he's telling Nick all these things about himself. Then he just throws it out that Georgia is a murderer. She's done this, she's done that. But after they get married and everything and they're dancing, Georgia gets arrested. The cliffhanger is, who told? Was it Jesse or was it Nick? Because remember, Nick wasn't at the wedding.
It was both. I'm assuming it was both.
It probably was both of them.
He probably got Nick on his side, or Nick decided just not to come.
Yeah, he probably decided not to because he's trying to process the information.
But he would have to have gotten Nick on his side somehow. Or he could have gotten to Cynthia because she didn't get arrested for killing her ex-husband.
She got arrested for killing. Yeah. So, the PI is just like, she had to have something to do with it.
So basically, season 2 ends with Georgia getting arrested.
Yep.
As I thought it was going to end from the get-go, I knew she was going to get arrested at some point. Season 2 was the perfect place to do that. If not, that would just been a lot of useless.
Like, you just would have just...
What would the season have been leading up to?
Yeah.
So basically what they do in season 2, everybody gets their ducks and eggs in a row. Or is it eggs and ducks?
People just say ducks. They say you get
your ducks in a row?
Yeah.
So it's not ducks and eggs? Wait, so it's just ducks?
How you put eggs in a row, Kaiser?
Easy. You put them in a row. Like,
do you see eggs falling up behind each other, or do you see ducks falling up behind each other?
Well, yeah, but they don't have to follow each other to be in a row.
It's ducks in a row.
We're like literally sitting right across from each other, and we don't have to be in a row.
A row. They don't say nothing about no eggs.
But you're right. You're honestly right. But I'm gonna say ducks and eggs because you know what? Why not?
It sounds dumb.
It does sound dumb, but ducks in a row sounds dumb too.
Get your ducks in a row. You see the mama duck, and then you see the baby ducks falling up behind her. That's what people get to saying from.
Yes, but when I imagine ducks in a row, I did not imagine baby ducks. I imagine a whole bunch of ducks just following each other, being stupid.
Do not see eggs coming out the chicken, talking about something. Oh, we gotta get in the row.
We're not talking about chicken. We're talking about ducks.
We're talking about eggs.
Yeah, but like still.
You sound like a valley girl.
Wait. Do ducks come out of eggs?
I was like, yes. What? They had.
Well, why does it matter then? Where did you get chickens from?
I'm saying because you said eggs, so I'm thinking of like chicken. When chickens hatch.
But ducks hatch too.
But it's okay. When ducks give birth to their duckies, they come out in eggs. The eggs don't come out in a row. Okay? They just come out. So they say get your ducks in a row because when you're a mother duck, you have to cross the street or whatever. You have to go somewhere. Your kids, which are the ducklings, come behind you in a straight line.
I'm just trying to figure out where are the father ducks? What do they do? Well, wait, but you don't have to have sex. To be a duck, I don't think you have to have sex to have. I mean, you don't have to.
Yes, you do.
Do you?
That is called the circle of life.
Chickens hatch eggs, but they don't need the father chicken to hatch eggs, right? So is it the same thing with ducks?
They mate.
But you don't need to mate for them to hatch eggs.
I did not know that.
No, you don't.
So they are just creating babies by themselves? That don't make any sense.
But it does. I think they're home. Yeah, you can search it up. Chickens don't need to have other chickens lay eggs. That's why chickens lay eggs so rapidly. What do you think? They just get it on all day? I'm just asking. Am I right or am I wrong?
Help me,
I could be
Jesus.
dumb. She's searching it up because I need to know.
Okay, got you.
What does
So
it say?
hens will lay eggs with or without a rooster.
Okay.
It says without a rooster, your hen's eggs are infertile, so won't develop into
Nothing.
chicks.
Okay.
If you do have a rooster, eggs need to be collected daily and kept in a cool place before being used so that they won't develop into chicks. Dang.
So basically, they just
It's called death, a cold death.
No.
Before it's even fertilized, they keep it so it don't.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying these animals are
Then
just...
why in the world that time my
These animals
egg
are
had
having
blood
bowel
in it?
movements and...
It's not bowel movements, guys, because it still comes out of her female parts.
But
It don't come out her butthole. She's not
so
pooping
does it-
out
do
eggs.
do they have...
You need to go back to school because she's really
Do
dumb.
chickens have buttholes? Or do
Yes,
they just lay it out
Kaiser.
the reproduction?
How do they use the bathroom? They still have to use the restroom. They still have to use the bathroom.
Yes,
That's
but
why
it
they
doesn't
have
come
butt.
out through an egg. I mean, the same part where it comes to the egg, so their body...
Does a baby come out the same part of a mama that it does the poop?
But we're humans. We have different... We have different...
Listen to what you said.
I'm talking about
Kaiser.
chickens are built differently, right?
No.
So, yes.
Every animal, human being, whatever you want to call yourself to be that the Lord created you to be, a female has a certain organ body part.
Yes.
A male
yes,
has
but
certain
that's not what I'm...
organ
That's not
body
what I'm
part.
talking about.
When the chicken
What I'm talking about.
lays the egg, it comes out of her female part.
What is her female part, though? Because it's not the same as a human female part, is what I'm
It's
saying.
not, but it's still, she
So it
has
comes
her
out the
own
female part.
certain kind, yes,
Are you
which is
sure?
her female part. And she also
So
has a
that's
butthole
so
so that she can
How do you
poop
know they
out
have a... So you
what
saw a
she
chicken's
eat.
butthole?
Kaiser, how the chicken gonna use the bathroom?
It can come out the same parts of the
It
egg
does
comes
not.
out.
It does not. That's called excess bacteria that chicken does not need. The chicken has a butthole so it can poop. Just like every other animal has buttholes so they can poop.
I'm just saying that they could share the same type
No,
of body part.
no.
there.
Mm-mm. It don't do that.
You're knocking over the microphone.
It don't do
and
that.
it picks that up on the microphone.
Listen, the
How do you know
microphone needs to
this?
be knocked upside your head. That's called common sense 101.
Common sense 101. All animals are different. There are some...
All animals
like
are
saying-
different.
That's like saying...
But every
that's like
animal-
saying seahorses that are men don't have babies, but they do.
Yes, they have babies, but I guarantee you, they babies don't come out they poo-poo butthole.
Do they have a butthole?
Yes, because they have to use the restroom.
But they don't, that doesn't mean it's necessarily a hole in a place
It
where
may
a butt
not
should
be
be.
a hole where their buttocks is that they may not have buttocks, but they have a way of releasing the waste
and
from their body.
And I'm saying the place where they release the waste is probably the same place where they can
or
release the
it's
babies.
probably not.
For some animals, it is, though.
What animal?
Some animals,
What
there
animal?
are several millions of animals out in the world. And
What
God,
animal?
several
You
millions of
can't
animals out
say
in the
that
world.
and not able to back it up.
You can't say what you said, not be
Yes,
able to
I
back it up.
can. If you ever seen an elephant give birth,
Search it up. Search it
have
up
you ever
right
seen
now.
a
I
horse
dare
give
you.
birth? Have
Those
you ever
are
seen
mammals.
a snake give
Those
birth?
you're naming a whole bunch of mammals.
A snake is not a mammal.
That's a reptile, but at the same time, you just name a horse
Does
and a
an
cow.
alligator?
I don't know how an alligator gives
Poop.
birth. An alligator lays eggs.
Thank you.
I'm saying that the same place the poop comes out of, the eggs can come out of. That's what I'm
It
saying.
cannot do that. It's not possible.
It's possible for some animals, I promise.
Like what?
Search it up.
You cannot do that.
search it up.
You search it up. You search it
Why
up.
are you searching it up?
That don't make any sense. You lay eggs.
For
No.
some animals, it is.
You
Why do you?
cannot say
Why
that
are
and
you
not
so
be able
on
to
the
back
stance
it
of
up.
no?
Because you can't say it and not be able to back it up.
But you know that it is possible.
It's not. Until you
Everything
prove me
is
wrong.
possible.
Until you prove me wrong.
I am gonna prove you wrong because I'm gonna search it up.
Look it up. That don't make any sense.
Do-
That don't make no
Do
sense.
some animals lay eggs the same
Just dumb.
place
Just dumb.
they poop? I don't know. Yes.
Like what?
They gave me a yes, and they said yes.
I just had to
And
know.
you just kept calling me dumb.
Cause that's dumb. So chickens poo poo and lay eggs in the same hole. I mean from the same hole, not in it.
Yes. It comes from the same single place.
Okay, well you're not dumb.
See, but you're here calling me dumb. About, you know what?
Because you sounded dumb, so I said you dumb.
No, you thought that it was dumb because
And you
didn't
kept not
understand
proving me
it.
wrong. So
Well, I just
therefore,
proved you wrong
you were
now.
dumb.
Anyway,
back to Ginny and Georgia. She gets arrested, and that's the end of season 2. Marcus and Joe have a moment because, mind you, Joe is still infatuated with Georgia.
Yeah, they do.
Marcus, he still has feelings for Ginny.
Yes.
He's not capable of being in a relationship at that moment. Joe just needs to give it up. Okay? I hope he don't do nothing stupid. Because he did confront Georgia. He was trying to figure out, you flirting with me. Like, he did confront her.
She's so horrible at,
and at least he got some type of to confront her. Because he confronted that lady.
He did.
But
it took him a long time,
it took him a long
it took
time
Cynthia
to
like
figure out that
say
it was
no.
So that's that, you guys. That's all I have to say about Ginny and Georgia.
Yes. Well,
watch the show.
But this is the part where you pitch why people should watch the show.
Because it's a good show.
Why is Ginny and Georgia a good show?
Ginny and Georgia is a good show because it touches base on certain topics that I feel that regular schmegular family TV does not address. It's a good show because it actually gives character development. It explains to you why they do what they do, talk the way they talk. They are the way they are. If you want a show that you feel like you can grow with that character or see that character grow and develop into someone else or into a better version of themselves, watch Ginny and Georgia. It's all the way worth your time, okay?
Yes.
You got a little drama in there, you got a little comedy in there, but it touch on some real life stuff,
Such as?
Being raised by a single mother or a dad being in your life but not in your life. Being raised, knowing that your dad's in jail.
Growing up black.
LGBTQ.
Plus.
Being depressed.
Depression. Mental health issues in general.
Mental health. You have a parent with a disability that you may have to adjust to.
Teenage sex.
You got therapy. The signs of children as they kind of develop and see if something's wrong with them or not. Basically, you see Austin, you can see he may need help later on in life because he's going through some things. Losing a loved one, losing your spouse, doing whatever you have to do for your family. It's all kinds of things. Money, power. It's all kinds of stuff up in that show.
So all your classic elements of drama plus elements
bam.
of comedy.
Yes.
Creating a comedy drama.
You need to watch it. A comedic drama.
Where can we find Ginny and Georgia?
On Netflix. They got season 1 and season 2. You go watch each episode back to back to back to back. But if you want to take a break, you can. If you don't want to, get you some good food, take you a nice shower, and watch your show. If you don't shower or bath, that's on you. But get comfortable and watch this show.
Well, thank you, Karington. And speaking of breaks, right now we're going to actually take one so we can do some stuff and get something to eat. And after that, we will have one of our final segments on the show, the Random Game Challenge. That's where I'm going to do a trivia questionnaire with my sister to see just how much of a fan she actually is of Ginny and Georgia. So we'll be right back after these messages. Okay. Here comes my favorite part, the trivia section. I worked real hard on it. And by real hard, I just mean 5 minutes before my sister and I started recording. But who cares? Fans are gonna love it.
Yeah, cool. But question, what fans?
What do you mean by what fans? People are gonna watch my show, obviously.
Yeah, but who are those fans?
Fans, the fan base I am built up. Just from existing. Because I'm that awesome. Yeah.
MMHMMMM.
They're coming, okay? It's just gonna take some time. But as soon as the podcast comes out, it's gonna be fun. They'll come. We'll have chats on Discord or whatever. Build up a small community and eventually have an HBO show and
all that from one podcast.
Of course not all from one podcast, okay? I get it. Stranger things have happened though, like UFOs, mermaids, unicorns. And, if 4-leaf clovers really exist, so can my HBO show. It'll be like Sex in the City, but for black people.
Black people? Oh, so you mean like Girlfriends or Harlem?
No, don't say stuff like that, okay? You'll make white people feel like they deserve the credit. We all know Living Single came out before Friends.
True.
Now get back to editing. You're almost finished. All right, everyone, we're back after the break, and we're about to start the trivia section. Dolly, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. My nickname is Doll Baby for those who don't know.
All right.
Please
So
excuse the
before-
unprofessionalism.
Before we do the trivia questions, I am going to go over the rules with you so you know what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. You are given a series of 20 questions, and there are 4 rounds each. So that means for each round, there are going to be 5 questions. You have 60 seconds for each round to answer all the questions, and you are only allowed to get 2 wrong per round without getting a penalty. The penalty is if you get 3 or more wrong, 5 seconds will be removed off the timer. So that means if you get 4 wrong, 10, 5 wrong, 15.
Yeah.
And depending on the amount of answers you get correct, you will be given a title. 5 or less, you're just a casual fan. One of those people who watch every now and then but don't know what you're talking about. 10 to 14, you're an original fan. You've been there since the beginning. Or you can at least pretend like you're since the beginning, you know? It's like watching The Vampire Diaries. When it came out way back when Twilight was big, in 2017 when the final season was on. You can get
Right.
away with it.
Okay.
15 to 18, you're an extreme fan. It doesn't matter when you walked in, how you got in, where you came from. You watched the show, you like the show, and you're an expert. You know what I mean? You know what's going on. And 19 to 20, you're the ultra fanatic. You know everything. There's nothing you don't know about this show. There's no wall you will not climb to get the answer that you need. And there is no way at all whatsoever to lose this game.
Okay.
Cool, right? And then we have the bonus round. In the bonus round, you're only given 15 seconds to answer these 5 questions. But there is a catch.
What's the catch?
If you have time remaining from the leftover questions, the rest of those seconds will be added into the bonus round, so you have that extra time. As each round goes on, the questions get just a little bit harder, so you have to really use your thinking brain. You have to be the Ginny and Georgia fan that fans know you are.
My thinking brain?
Yes. Your brain has separate sides. You're using one of them, okay? Are you ready?
Ready, Freddy.
Here is the Ginny and Georgia Trivia Challenge, starting in 3, 2, 1. Who are the members of Mang?
Max, Abby, Nora, and Jenny.
Correct. What age did Georgia have Ginny?
15.
How many episodes are in each season?
10.
What is the name of the town where the story takes place?
Wellsbury.
What is the name of Ginny's first boyfriend?
Hunter.
Hunter what?
I don't know Hunter's last name.
Well, you got it correct. You had 29 seconds. So you ready for the next round? 3, 2, 1, round 2. What age is Ginny at the start of the series?
She's 15.
Who was elected mayor of the city?
Paul.
What is Georgia's nickname for Ginny?
For Jenny?
Mm-hmm.
Peach.
What is Georgia's birth name?
Mary.
What is the name of Georgia's sister?
Maddie.
It's still Maddie? I thought it was Maddie. Yes,
Maddie.
Maddie.
It's Maddie.
You ready for round 3?
Ready.
3, 2, 1. How does Marcus get his concussion?
He was in a motorcycle accident. He crashed his bike.
When?
At the end of season 1.
At night. Okay.
Oh, at night.
How does Georgia get a job at the mayor's office?
She flirts her way into it with the mayor. She blackmails Joe at the Blue Farm.
Correct. Who shoots Gil in the arm?
Austin, his own son.
9-year-old son. How many love interests, past and present, has Georgia had in the show so far?
In the show so far, she had Paul, her ex-husband, Zion, Gil, and Joe. 5.
And one more. Her other ex-husband.
Oh, her other ex-husband,
Wait, why did I
Anthony.
give you the answer?
Anthony, 6.
What is the name of Georgia's first husband who she killed by accident?
Anthony.
Anthony what?
Oh, I'm not sure what his last name is. Anthony Hilberger? Miller. Anthony, I'm not sure.
You're out of time. Anthony Green.
Oh, Anthony Green? Oh, I thought it was, that's weird.
Round 4. How many Degrassi actors have played in Ginny and Georgia so far?
9 of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What causes Maine to break up?
Max finds out that Jenny and Marcus were sleeping together.
And
she finds out, confronts them, and then finds out that Abby knew, so they all, break up.
okay. What is the name of Zion's love interest in season 2?
Oh, starts with an S. Sabrina?
No.
Sasha?
No.
I forget what it is.
All right, we'll get back to that one. Who was Jenny's first new black friend?
Bracia.
What state did the Millers move to?
Massachusetts.
What is the name of Zion's love interest in season 2?
Sophie.
No, that's the name of...
Sabrina.
No.
Sasha?
No.
Is it a black name?
It's a black name, yeah.
I don't know.
Simone.
Simone. I was trying to think of a black name. I was about to say Sheila or something.
All right, round 5. What does Georgia name herself after?
Georgia, the state, a billboard.
Yes. All right. What is Georgia's catchphrase?
Her catchphrase?
Yeah,
Sting before they sting you.
not quite.
A bee sting the bee before it stings you.
Still not quite.
Okay, it's something like that. I don't know. Can't remember.
What song does Georgia and Austin sing in the car on the first day in the new city?
Oh, I don't know, but I feel like I know. It's a new city. I don't know.
Let's get, okay.
Hurry.
What does Ginny refer to Georgia in her poem as?
A force.
No.
I reckon a force.
We're moving 5 seconds.
I'm not sure.
What issue does Ginny have with her English class reading list?
He's racist.
All right, ding, ding, ding. You got 2 wrong. So now it's time for the bonus stage. You have 68 seconds to get through this bonus round. If you are able to get through it, you will become an ultra...
Call her the second one? The seasonal?
Which
I'm
one?
sorry, continue. I can't remember I was trying to remember what she was calling. Georgia.
A monster.
A monster. Oh, yeah. Okay, continue.
Oh, wait. No, you're only an extreme fan. I forgot. If you get one of them wrong, I'm right. You will be an ultra fanatic.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The bonus round is hard now. I promise you.
Don't make it too hard, because now I'm going to have to smack you.
All
Okay,
right.
here we go.
63 seconds in 3, 2, 1. Who said this quote? Savage. I love you as Regina George.
Maxine.
Mm-hmm. You are so like exotic looking. Who said that quote?
Sam?
Yes.
Abby? Sam.
This quote. I quit being a mom. The hours are long and the pace sucks.
the neighbor, the mama.
Who?
Eli, Ellen.
Ellen. Which 2 actors are siblings in real life? Mm-hmm.
They have siblings?
They're siblings in real
Is
life.
it Max and Marcus?
Nope.
Give me a hint.
They're not siblings on the show.
Oh, okay. Oh, Nora and Hunter.
Nope.
Oh, they're not siblings on the show? Abby and what's his name? You saw with a B. Bruce?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
Get to that because you only have 14 seconds. What is Jesse's real name?
I can't remember. Nathan. Nathaniel.
Mm-mm.
I don't remember. I don't remember his real name.
That
Is it
means
Mark?
it's Gabriel.
Oh, Gabriel.
And for the 2 actors that are actually siblings in real life, it's Padma and Joe.
Oh, I can see that.
I know.
I can see that now.
I'm saying this because they're the same race.
No, I'm saying it because they look alike.
They do look alike.
They
Joe's
favor each
actor's
other.
name is Raymond, and his sister's name is Rebecca. Yeah, they're siblings.
Is he like way older than her?
Well, she's like 22, 23, so yeah, he's in his 30s.
Yeah, I can see that. Cool. Cool bean.
So you've only missed 5.
Wow. What does that make me?
I have to look at the rules again. That makes you an ultra fanatic.
That I am. I wear the title well.
Yes, you are an ultra fanatic. My sister may not be the best fan, but she is an ultra fanatic because in order to be a best fan, you have to get 21.
Oh, well. Oh, well.
You are not there.
His
But
name is
thank
Gabriel.
you for playing the trivia challenge.
You're welcome.
Now tell me, sister, how has this podcasting experience gone for you in this first episode of I'm a Fan of?
Why are you laughing? It's gone great. I was glad to discuss one of my favorite shows.
Which is Ginny and Georgia, correct?
Yes, Ginny and Georgia. For those who don't know, and you have listened to this podcast
For the last, like,
last
3
however
hours.
many hours it's been, and you still don't know that it's Ginny and Georgia,
I have a lot of editing to do.
please click out of here.
I have a lot of editing to do. I make sure we don't sound stupid. But
I always sound great.
I want to thank you, sister, for joining us on this episode.
You're welcome.
I'm glad. Did you enjoy yourself?
I enjoyed myself swell.
Really?
I mean, well, it was swell. That's what I
It
should
was
say.
very swell.
That's what I was trying to say.
Well, swell without the S is just well. So it's just
Okay.
You the outro.
Thanks everyone for listening to the I'm a Fan of podcast.
Don't forget to support us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and supporting our social media at... Well, I didn't make it yet. You know it's coming.
And if you didn't catch all of that, it'll be in the show notes.
Next episode, I'll be discussing Genshin Impact with special guest Sabrina Gill. Until then, we'll say...
Don't cry over spilled condiments. See ya.
Or hear ya.
Or type ya.
Well, you can't really type it.
Oh, whatever.
Soon.
So, how'd I do?
Serviceable.
Does that mean I can stay?
No. It just means that you can do better next time.
So I can stay?
Yes. But only just for now, okay? I don't like feeling like the government's watching me. Even if they are doing it anyway.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I won't let you down. I'd hug you if I had arms.
No. Don't get any ideas. This is just a trial run, alright? Make one wrong move and you're out of here, okay? I want to make like a clever virus joke right now, but I can't. Go to bed. Go to. Eyes are watching me, okay? Good night.
Good night, boss. I really do appreciate you.
It's gross. Ha 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 ha. Gotcha. Because I'm not dumb. I know that some of my viewers did not read the show notes. You want to know why I know some of my viewers did not read the show notes? Because when I listen to podcasts, I never read the show notes, so I understand. But for those same viewers, I have two things to tell you. One, go to the library, and two, let me tell you some of the socials for the podcast. Okay. You can email us at IAFOFans@gmail.com, Reddit at IAFOFans, Twitter at IAFOFans, Instagram at IAFOFans, and if you want to find a host, which is me, you can go to Instagram at KK Brown Productions or Twitter at Kaiser Brown 1. You can find me at all these places and contact me and ask questions and maybe apply to be a viewer one day.
He means co-host, not viewer. Amateur mistake.
You never know. Thank you for listening to the episode. Go read. Bye.